हैरान हूं मैं। इस जंगल में, इस दूर दराज जजीरे पर, मेरे इस खैमे की तन्हाई में कौन बसा गया है आपको?
हीरे तो महंगा सी प्यार मेरा, हीरे तो महंगा सी प्यार मेरा, चांदी दे पिछे भज भज के तू गवा लिया प्यार मेरा, लोकां दे पिछे लग लग के तू गवा लिया प्यार मेरा। हीरे तो महंगा सी प्यार मेरा, हीरे तो महंगा सी प्यार मेरा। नहीं लभना तेन प्यार मेरा, नहीं लभना तेन प्यार मेरा हुण, नहीं लभना तेन प्यार मेरा हुण।
क्या हाल है, क्या हाल है? हम लाइव हैं बब्बे, अपन लाइव हैं। हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर लाइव स्ट्रीम। क्या हाल चाल हैं सभी के? हेलो पाजी, हेलो तेजस, वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम ब्रदर, वेलकम वेलकम। और अपन आज काफ़ी नॉन रिफ्रेशिंग संडे के साथ, काफ़ी लाइक स्लीपी हार्ट संडे के साथ वापस आ चुके हैं। ओके, तरफ बाल सेट हो जाएं। और जैसा कि आप इस स्ट्रीम के टाइटल समझ जाएंगे, आज गेमिंग नहीं होगी, रात में हो सकती है बट अभी तो नहीं होगी। आज हम करने वाले रिलैक्स। भाई हो गई थोड़ी सी पढ़ाई, बढ़िया बढ़िया, क्योंकि आज हम करने जा रहे हैं दो मेजर टूर्नामेंट्स। जो आप फोन में गेम खेलते नहीं है, भाई भाई आ जाओ 1v1 कर ले, भाई 1v1 कर ले। और वही गेम, उसका जो सबसे पहले जो पीसी में आया था, वो दोनों गेम, यही जो गेम है इसका पीसी वाला, दोनों के मेजर टूर्नामेंट चल रहे हैं। तो उनमें से जो पीसी वाला पबजी है उसका फाइनल चल रहा है ग्लोबल सीरीज का, जहाँ की टॉप 16 टीम्स फाइनल्स का लास्ट डे आज वो। और दूसरा है PMGC पबजी मोबाइल, जो कि हमारे इंडिया में BGMI के नाम से जाना जाता है। उसका इंटरनेशनल ग्रुप रेड, जो जिसमें टॉप 3 टीम जाएंगी PMGC का फाइनल्स खेलने, उसकी वॉच पार्टी करेंगे। तो आप 4 बज रहे हैं, 6 मैचेस होते हैं एटलीस्ट, हर एक मैच हाफ एन आवर का, तो 3 घंटे वो, और बीच में एटलीस्ट 10 मिनट का ब्रेक। तो ऑलमोस्ट 4 घंटे के लिए अब हम ज्ञान पे लेंगे, जितना हो सके उतना ज्ञान पेला जाएगा हमारी तरफ से। और देखा जाएगा बेस्ट प्लेयर्स कैसे खेलते हैं, उनकी रोटेशन कैसे होती है, उनकी डिस्कशंस कैसे होती हैं, मतलब स्ट्रेटजीज क्या होती है। डिस्कशन तो हमको नहीं पता, हमको नहीं दिखाया जाता। मजा आएगा भाई। ऑलरेडी मैचेस स्टार्ट हो चुके हैं, तो डायरेक्ट जंप करते हैं मैचेस की तरफ। स्टार्ट होने वाला होगा क्योंकि 4:20 को हो जाता है। इंट्रो का लिंक मिल गया है, मैंने इंस्टा चेक ही नहीं किया एक्चुअली। मैं सुबह 6 बजे सोया हूँ। कहाँ भेजा तूने इंट्रो का लिंक? डिस्कॉर्ड भेजा क्या? वो रोज आन के पहले बेंच ते बेंदिया, साड़ी निकाज देते सारा दिन ही रहंदिया। इंस्टा 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 पर कहाँ है? अच्छा भेजी तो मैं देख, वो ध्यान नहीं दिया। पहले डिस्कॉर्ड ज्वाइन कर लेते हैं। ला 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 इंस्टाग्राम। हम चलते हैं सीधे चैट्स की तरफ। यहाँ पे तो ये रहा। अबे यार एक्सेस, तूने एक्सेस का नहीं दिया, तूने एक्सेस की प्रॉब्लम है। हाँ तेरे को ना जो तूने अपलोड किया ना उस पे जाके जब शेयरिंग में जाएगा ना तो वहाँ एक्सेस में मैं ओनर हूँ नहीं हूँ वो उसका सीन होता है। तो मेरे को एज वो कर दे डाउन एड ऑप्शन, मैं तेरे को बता दूंगा भाई थोड़ी देर में।
Stage there. Of our co-streamers, you guys have been with us through the entirety of the series. We appreciate you guys so much. Hope you've been having a ton of fun. Make sure if you guys care about any of the other co-streamers, go give them a watch, hang out with them for a little while. Just make sure to leave us and the map feed open while you're doing so.
Definitely so. We've got ourselves fancy leagues
अभी
still
तो कोई
going
मैच
on.
लाइव नहीं है,
Well,
मैं
Max
दिखा देता हूँ जब तक तेरे को। तो मैंने दोनों कट क्यों कर दिए?
disagree again. So far, so good.
आज मैं तेरे को दिखा देता हूँ। We have to do these things. La 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 la. ईमेल भेज दो, ईमेल की जरूरत नहीं, देख मैं तेरे को बताता हूँ। ये देख जैसे ये चीज़ है तेरे को ये शेयर करनी है। अरे अरे तो मेरी नहीं है ना शेयर। ये देखिए तेरे को दिख रही है, मेल कर देता हूँ, नहीं जरूरत नहीं है। ये देखिए तेरे को स्क्रीन दिख रही है, ये देख यहाँ पे ऑप्शन होता है ये एनीवन विद द लिंक कर दे, जनरल एक्सेस एनीवन विद द लिंक। भाई तेरे को ऑप्शन आ रहा होगा देख, ऐसे राइट क्लिक करेगा ना तो शेयर करने जाएगा। शेयर एक तो कॉपी लिंक, लिंक डायरेक्ट कॉपी होती है, इस वक्त देख सकता हूँ। शेयर में कुछ करेगा ना तो यहाँ पे मतलब एक्सेस में यहाँ ऑप्शन होगा, तो मेरे को एडिटर या फिर ओनर कुछ करके अच्छा ऑप्शन आता है वो कर दे, फिर हो जाएगा। भाई अभी मैच आया नहीं है। ओह शिट, इंस्टाग्राम पर दिखा दिया मैं। जब तक आउट स्कोर पे मीम्स देख ले, मीम्स। अरे हाँ पहले मैं अपडेट कर देता हूँ, लाइव आ चुके हैं यहाँ पर। सर की जो सर से वो धीरे धीरे पागल हुआ रे मैं धीरे धीरे तेरी चुनरिया दिल ले गई। ठीक है मैं देखता हूँ दिल ले गई। भाई मजा आएगी भाई आज प्रो प्लेस देखने में। मेरे को एक तकिया लेकर आना यार, मेरे ना ये वाली सीट ना बहुत ज़्यादा पीछे हो जाती है। हाँ हो गया एक्सेस, ये देख आ गया देख डाउनलोड का ऑप्शन आ गया। हो गया डाउनलोड, VN से करिए। आवाज तो है। ये पूरी ऑडियो मिल सकती है क्या मेरे को? आवाज तो है।
Good for those guys.
इनका भी
नहीं अभी नहीं आया।
Gonna say if they want 100%.
चलो भाई PMGC का पहला मैच आ रहा है।
Falcons are playing.
बस सेट के लिए नहीं हो पा रहा है।
are all racing for that top 3.
नाम बता दे, मैं नाम
We
कर
need
लूंगा।
to see a chicken dinner from IW.
हाँ भाई एक चीज और, एक पाकिस्तान की टीम है ASI8 करके नाम है उनका, वो अच्छी खेल रहे हैं बहुत। क्या वो क्वालिफाई कर पाएंगे PMGC के लिए, ग्लोबल चैंपियनशिप के लिए क्वालिफाई पाकिस्तान की टीम? सोच रहे हो कितना प्राउड मोमेंट होगा हमारे बेटों की।
6th position, that's 3 spots lower than 3rd, only have a 2-point difference. It's an insane point gap to have between so many squads, 4 top 3, 4 spot in the grand finals of PMGC, fighting for the lion's share of $3 million. It is so damn close, Jason. So I'm just looking at those two teams to see who's going to be in the top 3, because unfortunately some teams will be disappointed after today.
Well, we can see here action running over the script from the interview at the start of the show with Top, making sure he said number 1 correctly, which he did. Really nailed it. No, I mean the thing is, right? IWNRX Hot Jukes, they're kind of potentially becoming the Mir and Sejong of this group, where they are sitting extremely high for the entire time, and then to lose it.
Vulcans की वापसी हो गई है।
Oh my gosh, Vlad is rolling over in his chair right now.
In his grave, I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, no, that man is alive and well. You know what, I'll tell you what, when it comes to IWNRX, I mean, this is too close for comfort. I mean, even Team Falcons, when they said that first place is what they wanted, it's possible, right? It's not impossible here. I mean, I don't want to shy away from the performance that we heard from TJB yesterday, where we saw it was unbelievable. Over a 70-point day. Do you know how ridiculous that is? That's average 10 points plus a game. I was looking back through the stats to find out when the last time we saw a team have that kind of performance. And after about 5 minutes of searching, I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know when we're going to see it again. So, I mean, it's crazy to see a team like that perform on that day. Will we have another one like that? Right? That desperately need those points? I doubt it. But man, it's so impressive to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Blank mentioned it. This is the best PMGC we've had, and it keeps getting better year after year after year. But I have a question for you, because I want to see if you're on the Copium train. It helped Inco to make it to survival last week.
It sure did.
What do you think is going to happen with Fiora here? Because they've had a big step up yesterday. Are they going to keep it going, or are they going to fall off?
I hope so. You know, when it comes to it was it wasn't the
link has been shared to Instagram. Thank you for that.
Big time. You know, that's why they're one of my teams. I
PMGC
here because we saw a sign of life in the position. I love to see because
मैं आज Discord पे meme से देख ले जाए memes है with link holder access. Okay. Chair at Radeon Gaming. ये कौन सी कुर्सी बनाता है रखा भाई करके? UPSC body massage. Getting ready for PMGC long study exam for free only for first 10 candidates. Okay. What the fuck? Special package for girls and women. Hair plus foot massage plus. भाई.
मतलब वैसे वे मत देखो जिंदगी में वो ही बड़ा है जो झुकता है मतलब वैसे वे मत लो उसको समझे किस वे में बोल रहा हूँ
राघव भाई अस ब्रो अस मीम्स पर हंसते हंसते लाइफ ही मीम बन गई है
हम दुखी थे लेकिन हमसे ज्यादा दुखी दो और लोग थे
टाटा
हम दुखी
वॉक्सवैगन स्कोडा हो गई
लेकिन हमसे ज्यादा दुखी
ठीक है टाटा
दो और लोग थे
इसका नाम क्या था मैं वो भूल गया चांचड़ सुजुकी तभी पुष्पा भाव कहते हैं ते झुकेगा नहीं साला अरे हाँ ये देखा हूँ मैं बहुत अच्छा है सुपर लाइन क्या है प्रो टिप डोंट ट्रेड अ फोन विद कर्व डिस्प्ले हैं महिंद्रा भाई रे भाई ये तो गंदा कटा होगा भाई किसी का क्या ड्रॉप मारा है चंचक और उसको पता ही नहीं है ओ स्टोर्स
নতুন কবিকে চেনা হবে ওই সমুদ্রে হেঁটে বেড়াবো নাম না জানা
ओजी बीम गाइस इट्स अ बिग वीकेंड भाई हम थोड़ी देर बाद आते हैं एस भाई कौन सी इसकी है ये टीआरमा गेमिंग की कौन सी है थियो 100s टन भाई वैलोरेंट में आए हाय क्यूटी तो है डिस्कॉर्ड आ जाओ गाइस क्योंकि चैट में बात ना कर रहा हूँ अपनी बंदे होंगे और तो भी होगा नहीं आराम से देखते हैं उसकी नहीं भलाई का जमाना ही नहीं है
मतलब इस तरह की चीजें नहीं होनी चाहिए हमें शोभा नहीं देता बिल्कुल भी एकदम शर्म वाली बात है ना हाँ शर्म आनी चाहिए मतलब इस तरह की चीजें जो तुम लोगों ने बना दी कि 6000 में आ जाती है तो 6000 में जो रशियन आ जाती है मतलब
8000 देख रहा है आलोक अबे देख रहे हो रेट बढ़ गए हैं फाटू है तो हैं भाई ये तो मीम देखना पड़ेगा फाटू और सेम
सैम क्या हाल है सैम? पूरा परिवार रहो यार।
ऐसे डाइव मार सकते हो रिवर?
वो रिवर तक जाएगा आगे।
भैया गाना गा रहे हैं, आपको क्या होगा जनाब यार? वाह क्या मुस्कुराहट है।
अरे स्वैप कर सकते हो? नहीं नहीं कोई स्वैप नहीं होगा, कोई नहीं होगा, लग गया वो पीछे।
भैया प्लीज मुझे कर देना।
अरे कर ले, 5 सेकंड भी नहीं लगते।
भाई ऊपर लेके पूरी भाई पार्टी और सेफ की तो लग गई भाई। आपको डिस्कॉर्ड में आवाज नहीं आ रही क्या? 1 सेकंड मैंने वो इनकी ऊंचाइयों में कोरा ही कोरा शिट।
जो ऊपर जाने लग गया, इसकी जो गांड फटी, उसके बाद मुंह से एक शब्द नहीं निकला।
डिस्कॉर्ड का मैंने आउटपुट वाला वो कर रखा होगा, 1 सेकंड में वो चेंज कर लेता हूँ। अब आ जाएगी बात, बोलिए देश।
हेलो।
अरे भाई एक तो तेरी आवाज ऐसे निकलती है कानों को चीटती हुई।
अरे भाई क्या करे, ऐसी आवाज है 16 की उम्र में।
तो ईयरफोन थोड़ा दूर रख ले, अपना डिस्कॉर्ड का ठीक कर ले।
भाई ईयरफोन नहीं है, ईयरबड्स पहन रखे हैं।
भाई मैंने मिस कर दिया, फाल्कन के 3 बंदे मर गए, 5 किल्स नावी के। इसकी बहन का।
TSM out with a
Well, that is a depressing sight.
ये देखना पड़ेगा पीछे जाके।
I mean,
देखना पड़ेगा।
The day progresses here. Seems, you know, down towards the bottom of the tables. Maybe this just wasn't their PMGC, man. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. I think that they can be thinking themselves fortunate coming into Group Red.
1 सेकंड, पॉइंट टेबल का सीन है तो पॉइंट टेबल के बजाय छोड़ देते हैं, यहाँ कर देते हैं।
Considering
नीचे वाला उसको मैटर ही नहीं हमको।
नहीं
कैसे मेरे काम?
But I would say that maybe you could also
Vulcan के आईसीआई कैंप कर रहे हैं।
Take risks because if you're play mobile fought for that
Vulcan
third
के
place
3
spot, a little bit ahead for TJB, but they still need to keep their wits about them because teams up there really know how to put points on the board, which is fantastic to see, but definitely not something that you want to be
पीछे से आ रहा है
around that third place as well.
ये तो बहुत बड़ी गलती है क्या? आईसी
He's already starting off to not the best beginnings here with Falcons. Icy trying to take on the entire
Icy!
squad, finds a second on the engagement. Dude, it's just him here right now. Is this a 1v4 versus FaZe coming right out the gate? Almost has it with the
भाई I have made an ultimate team for RCB as per my way of thinking as costing
shot.
अरे कहाँ ध्यान लगा रहा है सीट पे, पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दे। बनती रहेगी टीम, घर नहीं चला रहे यार तुम्हारी आरसीबी। तुम्हारा कैरियर नहीं बनाने आ रहे।
In there, Noise not going for the res, but there's the first knock.
Oh,
the second player from Falcons needs to find
1v1
now. Does manage to tag the back line. Onzin's around the rock. Can they finally take the Falcons out of this one?
कहाँ है Vulcan के बंदे? ये सोलो क्या आ रहे हैं?
Lose a third player. Blank at such a crucial moment. They're not even going to get an limb for
ये
it.
क्या किया Vulcan ने भाई?
Where is East? East is West right
Top
now.
action कहाँ है भाई? East को छोड़ दिया।
He didn't even try.
इतना तो प्यारा खेल लेते यार।
That could have been an easy cleanup there for
इस मैच को अच्छा निकालते, टॉप पे आया।
Fourth place, trying to break into the top 3, which is just 1 point away. By the way, this is a horrible start for them. For FaZe, on the other hand, wow, good job to them.
To go as well. Boysil.
Whilst the boys from
Alter Ego को नावी ने पेल दिया।
Site for Alter Ego, I mean, whilst the boys from
we
know they're a strong team, currently in the war zone really, with Falcons, Nick the Galaxy and themselves all sat on roughly 125 points. You do want to make a smart choice here because if you can get ahead early on, that would be ideal.
जोन फेवर नहीं किया भाई। IIT गाइस ये पाकिस्तानी टीम है, बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है।
Playing on that ridge.
पिछले जितने भी सैनों के मैच हुए इनको जोन यहाँ मिलता था, अच्छा मजा आता था।
Quarry on that south side though, so I think for IHC it's likely they're going to be out of the conversation for a little while. Furia, pretty good yesterday, honestly. I was happy with what we were seeing from Furia in terms of being able to get towards the center side of the circle. I think they were able to put up the majority of their points yesterday, so that was good to see, and hopefully some of that contest for the top side for 11th place continues to come through today.
5 सेकंड का डिले होता ही यार।
To the walled compound to the west of Quarry. Cilio all the way up on the north instead this time around. Furia just leaving Parrot, or well, in the foothills to
INS कहाँ पे?
Cilio in this location do have a nice sweep down to the north side of boot camp. Definite opportunities as well to break out to the east side of it, make their way in through towards Quarry. This is a solid position for Cilio.
भाई literally ना
opportunity to put a 5-point minimum game up.
जो ये टीम 85 पर है, इनके अगर 3 मैच में पीछे चले गए ना, लाइक जो 12 टीम नंबर पर 3 मैच पीछे चले गए ना, ये टॉप में आ सकते हैं भाई। पूरा ओपन है अभी भी भाई, लिटरली लाइक मेरे को फेज पर्सनली क्लैन अच्छा लगता है, फेज क्लैन चाहूंगा कि पाकिस्तान की टीम अच्छा करे भाई, अपने एशिया से जाए, अपने साउथ एशिया से जाए कोई टीम।
This is all the way on the eastern side there. Going past Camp Bravo,
Southeast Asia में आते हैं,
in underneath cave because
क्योंकि इंडिया तो नहीं सकती, हम बैंड है, PUBG वाले हम खेल नहीं सकते लाइक इंडिया में, और BGMI से कोई वो ही नहीं है कि क्राइटेरिया जाए।
Decided to hop out, maybe going for a little bit more.
अभी तक तो कुछ आया नहीं है इंडिया के लिए, जब से PUBG वाले बैन किया गया।
Slowly, we're still stage 2, so Blue Zone obviously survived.
He is having a bad game as usual.
Trifecta compound, they're currently moving past ruins and maybe also going for another wide swing. Could this be a fight between
क्या चल रहा है दूसरे
unfolding over towards
KDF?
TD team, but Bubble shuts them down. And you hate to see
down
that.
towards the south side though.
I
think if you're Na'Vi, you're sort of assuming there's going to be quite a big line going down from boot camp to that south side. I don't know how much more free it is going to be over towards the southern side of the lobby though. With Nigma Galaxy, Vengeance, and Tong Jiabao in this location, like you say, Tong Jiamba also on the way. I'd be curious to see what they do. They could wrap all the way to the eastern side of Quarry. I think that would be the smartest choice to go for here. Might not keep you in the circle forever, but there are definitely positions to play that have high ground in terms of scouting capability as well. That'd be good. And you know that if you're making a wide wrap like this, a lot more times it is better to wrap into slightly less strong position just to give you more scouting, because you really do not have a lot of information on the circle.
Cave now, and looks like they are going to go up the east side of Quarry here. Try and navigate from that southeast side. They move up, they get a little bit of information to go through this compound, and they're
Navi Kampong की तरफ से आती हुई TJB, okay, Quarry का open zone, और सेंटर में कोई नहीं है। Well, that's impressive. इतनी बड़ी, इतनी एडवांस लॉबी होने के बाद इतने अच्छे बंदे होने के बाद सेंटर में कोई नहीं है। सेंटर खाली है गाइस।
Taking that position away from Tiamba as well, and potentially picking up.
गाड़ी उठाओ, क्रैश मार दो भाई, इतने पता चल जाते हैं दिन में।
Rotate up towards that north side now.
TJB जा रही है, TJB जा रही है, नहीं, TJB engage करेगी। ये जा रही TJB सेंटर।
Considering making their
TJB जा।
But they are being a bit slow.
TJB तो टॉप नहीं है, सेंटर में जाके और पॉइंट्स बटोरेगी।
First make that move, and Lemon's being really quite concerned.
आपको ऑफिस में बिजनेस एनालिस्ट है क्या?
Towards that north side, but yeah.
हाँ मेरे ऑफिस में है, काफी हैं भाई, सब हैं।
On that eastern side, they sort of allow Na'Vi to get in, and they should be able to play this one. If anything, Na'Vi at this rate might even be able to cut out Tiamba.
कैसा कर रहे हैं?
That position ahead of.
अरे क्यों दिमाग लगा रहा है? जैसे इन चीजों में क्या चल रहा है हमारे ऑफिस में, तू अपने 12 बोर्ड पे देख, अपने गेम एंजॉय कर।
Potentially a very dangerous prospect for Tiamba.
क्या सोचता रहता है काम कर रही?
Secure it though. Make sure that they are feeling all the more snug in the top 3.
तेरे को बिजनेस एनालिस्ट बनना है तो तेरे को भी 12th करनी पड़ेगी, फिर उसके बाद तेरे को ग्रेजुएशन करनी पड़ेगी, फिर आएगा ले फेज के मॉर्मन गाय।
Look at it, equalize that scoreline, finding one on phase. Onsen's the last to stand after their scrap earlier with the Falcons. The laser sight from behind. This Flower You don't need no laser assistance there. He's already laser focused.
Yeah, Onson's, it's a matter of time till he goes down, sadly, for FaZe. They'll be happy with the 3 elims they got, puts them a little bit further ahead, and with how close it has been down towards the bottom side of the lobby, 3 elims, like Jason said, you know, you get 5 elims per match. That's likely going to see you safe with how things have been going. But it's that consistency that's so hard to continue here towards because I think our teams are
a hardcore team that is still in top 3
performance. But it's pro
phases out.
Be a team that I would be
VP को तो भाई धुआं उड़ाना पड़ेगा लॉबी में like काटा पीटी VP को तो चालू कर देनी चाहिए like PUBG PC की टीम VP की बहुत मारती है भाई वो बस पीटने आते हैं बंदे
showings in the past and I think they definitely can
पीटो भाई बंदे तभी तुम क्वालीफाई कर पाओगे आ रहे पार कर तुम्हें फर्स्ट तो एक कोने से चालू करो और धूम बीम बम बूम
Galaxy embroiled with them here. Virtus Pro with a test. Nade over towards Icy, but it's on the wrong rock there.
पता कैसे नहीं हो Redox
does damage, but it
गया
doesn't full knock.
Icy गया Icy done knock finish finish
Icy goes down to one of them. Comes in from SnowX on the off angle. Tixi trying to crawl forwards, but I think Tixi should look to disengage here, move up to the compounds, but it looks like Redox has other ideas.
Sorry for the travel, travel की बात नहीं है.
Virtus Pro cut down to 2 and then 1 knocked in the blue zone. With the blue zone.
भाई अभी भी सेंटर कोई नहीं गया है. TJP के पास सेंटर आ गया है guys. और जोन आया है साउथ ईस्ट.
TJP on the top of quarry.
Yeah, Tongjubao once again, no matter what circle is on
और यहाँ पे खत्म. Dead. VP बाहर.
Nick Galaxy will find the entirety of Virtus Pro. I think they have to go for this push here, considering they'll be rotating in alongside with Virtus Pro, so they don't have too much of a choice other than to go for the fight. And 4 elims, that'll be pretty decent for you. That knocks IWRX out of 3rd place.
अरे क्या एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किया है अरे यार क्या कर रहे हो i8 वालों बढ़िया फिनिश तो लिया
ASA coming
मार लगी गोली नेड Zoom नेड Zoom
2 players now for ASA though
brother nades
finish this fight off
अरे यार
and Noki
ये तो बहुत पहले फेंक दिया
Nade up high, Noki launching it towards Furia.
बहुत पहले फेंक दिया यार Noki
back his way in the Molotov there.
Zoom पे नहीं है Zoom पे अच्छा ही गया यार
North side Furia had a decent position for a while on this north side.
भाई एक प्यारा नेड आ जाए ना
the necessary movement that they have to make, it's going to make it so much harder to extricate themselves.
ये नेड नहीं रखते
into a solid spot.
चावोस्की अरे नाइस नो पता था जाएगा ओ Zoom भाई बचा
is spotted. UZM does go low, doesn't have any meds though.
Yeah, he's
Zoom तो रहना है.
You just can't get into this one. ASA may draw short here with only the 1 elim.
Yeah, just Noki remaining.
भाई उसने पूरा revive दिया भाई kill नहीं दिया
Gustav finds Noki on his rotate inwards, so SA go out early with only 1 point on the game, dropping down to 5th place. Damn that.
1 पॉइंट आया यार Falcon के 0 आए इस मैच में.
I was excited.
NGX 4 आ गए NGX आ गए यार ले.
The plans really did go awry as soon as
cover fire तो है भाई. एक हमारे बंदे जो cover fire देने के नाम पे रोते हैं.
IWRX though finding Furia, Kaiowski goes down. I think Furia
Relic का kill गया. Relic का kill मिलेगा.
The top side of the hill.
कैसे नहीं मिला?
See though they lost a player earlier on to Tongjiabao, but are now putting the pressure over towards Ancilio, who have to come off this hillside.
They've already sent 2 players down into the compound beneath. It was a contested drop down into those sight lines.
IC के पास अच्छी position है.
It is to make that approach, Fash, navigating that smoke train, and actually may have slipped through the cracks here. 3 players for Ancilio, 3 players for IHC. Everybody on this eastern side is packed into this set of compounds here. Neither team really wants to step too far forwards because you can see there's off angles. Tianba up a little bit across the way, will take shots if they can. Navi further south as well. Side. As it crunches over to TJB again, they really
TJB इतने अमीर है और अमीर होता है आते richer gets more richer.
Even further out.
I mean, if you are a team that's chasing 1st place spot, I'd be pretty annoyed by this. The amount of times that Tongjiabao has been able to secure a central position in the lobby, or teams to play off the back of it. Yes, Tongjiabao, they are very good at holding these positions. However, you can't deny that over the past few days.
Especially on this circle. I mean, they have the high ground. It's centered up on a hard shift and a full center on them. Yet again, 2 circle shifts in a row. the question is, what can they extract from this, right? Because every team over the course of their careers will get games like this. It does go both ways. TJB do sometimes get cut out by shifts like this as well, but this is their time to benefit from that shift. So we'll see.
Oh, nice spotting by.
Get 2 elims here.
NRX का last 2 बंदे बचे बस.
But they may cut themselves down to size before they even reach TJB.
So many squads on this north.
Oh, I see अपना zone आ रही है.
With one another.
Started
things off well versus Virtus Pro. Would like to continue.
I
that
think ISC ने अपना zone
because
आगा.
they cut out that competition. It means they can get into that
ISC ने zone
quite
guys.
comfortably. And Cilio does find IHC. They go down. So our 13, 14, 15, and 16th place teams are all out. And with that, too, Vengeance drops into 12th place, so is now out of safety, just like that.
Oh! क्या शॉट था ये वुल्फ भाई?
Doing a brilliant opener there.
भाई क्या शॉट था ये?
Corner with the DBS, Frozen tucks back in, stays safe.
Well, that was something else, yeah.
Porsche with the nade cooking over towards Frozen, sees him break wide, puts the nade back in. Not likely to be able to get these reses either, as both of the IWNRX players are on the hunt now. And Porsche spotted. Sliver of HP and through the smoke. The
NRX के 4 के guys, 2 बंदे
NRX now up to 4
और T की बाहर बढ़ती हुई.
Galaxy are on 6, Navi are on 5,
Nigma Galaxy
are on 2. The chase
Nigma Galaxy अच्छा खेल रही है.
as hot as ever.
Good recovery from IWNRX. That looked real dangerous versus Get So Roy, but yeah, they're able to get all of those elims through. Enigma Galaxy 9.
ओरे भाई need है भाई.
What happened inside this lobby for them?
Need है भाई.
Another disgusting nade over the top side from Enigma Galaxy. Tongji
Bao
finds a shot over towards Na'Vi, cutting them down to 3 now, as Tongji Bao looks more and more likely just to take absolute control, the reins over this game, the north shift as well. Damn, this lobby really wants Tongji Bao to win.
This is uncanny. They have managed to get an incredible yet again, but it is
भाई नावी वाले कहाँ से थपड़ा रहे हैं?
the most right now. Unfortunately,
छह किले नावी के.
from Navi across the way, still on that east side of Quarry, but they are going to have to shift north. The blue zone's putting pressure on. This is Six, who is at the back of Navi's extended train position on that east side of Quarry. Will have to crunch back up to the front carriages of it. Navi will have to move just a moment. So what impact can he have until he needs to go for it?
For Navi, that compound has seen them safe for quite a while, but they need to cut out some openings on this eastern side. And
Frozen is spotted
does move out of it. Here's Tiamba though, finding shots over towards Insidio, which is
out
that northeast side.
और Frozen first aid late हो गई यार.
Navalo on a nasty backstab from them. Wasn't likely he's going to live for too much longer, but it's sad to see Navalo hit the deck. That is 10 eliminations so far for Enigma Galaxy and a really good streak out towards the top side of the lobby.
Enigma Galaxy अच्छा कर रही है.
Elims for Navi. These top 3 spots, they're getting confirmed on towards. I mean, IWNRX getting into top 6 here with 4 elims. They're probably thinking, oh, you know what? This is a pretty
TJB white top में और मिल जा रहा है
this one. Enigma Galaxy struggling to get off this hillside though, with TJB starting to strike out. They're up to 3 now.
Flower.
Difficult
Galaxy. Pool बना रहा है भाई Flower तो उनका.
To make this one work.
For Zed Wolf, it is a 1v2 that you'd have to be in versus Longs as well as Flower, but two dangerous players to come up against. Ralph has to make a send down the side. The blue is pushing them like nothing else, and Flower just has some nasty angles. Snowix will find Zed Wolf, so it's IWNRX now down equally in a really tough spot over towards that eastern side.
Navi भी बाहर. Navi किसने कर दिया?
Make that push up on the east is just so.
INS ने मार दिया.
They will fall to it. Incilio with a chance, Vengeance as well. These two teams looking to stretch away from that 12th place bubble. They do not want to be the chump holding a ticket at the end of this match. That's on the back of their minds, got to be a constant worry. But TJB now 7 elims, starting to pull the points in towards their tallies.
With
a great result.
I mean, look at this circle, dude. What are you meant to do versus Tongji Bao? I mean, they control the southeast side, which is where all the teams are. The possibility for them to get into the circle is going to be tough. Tongji Bao did lose Triple S, but for Vengeance, Very important game for them.
और यमा का spot होते हुए और zone से down.
Size very early on. A few teams around that area to get more points. Second place is.
और INSK 310.
Here is TPC does move up with a nade. Yamak is down to the play zone. Ideally a second place.
और spotted हो चुके हैं और 1v1. ओ 676 सकते हुए.
Oh, turning the corner, 676 goes down. Unnatural.
और finish भी हो चुके हैं.
Of a feeling there, because.
और मॉली आती हुई. फेस की तरफ से.
This time around, Fash.
क्या फेस क्लास कर पाएंगे? Fetch.
The Vengeance have a little bit longer to try and crawl in to try and survive against TJB, who are now on 2. So this is dangerous. There is still that 1v2 potential from any player in this lobby.
Oh, bhai, PJ.
Crawling forwards, TPZ has the high ground now against TJB, but I think Flower should be able to spot this or hear this, know something's going on the north side. Fash
spot हो जाएंगे, दोनों spot हो जाएंगे.
Free-firing into the smoke.
Oh, PJ ने Fash को मार दिया.
Player up the top, and that's
oh, bhai.
Get that second place, but it is
TJB against chicken dinner, bhai. इधर आ जाओ.
Look at the entire circle. The thing is,
oh भाई.
they have to
इधर क्या चल रहा है? But top 3 team अभी भी जितना है. But TSM ने हल दिया है 0 kills से.
Deal with 17 now. That's going to open up a lot of space for you.
Yeah, they're just split in so many different directions, and even Fluky not even anywhere near this, as he's kind of keeping eyes.
Phase 5 kill के साथ इन्हें पट हुई है.
So this is all just a 3-man squad from Theraton 5. Trying to take the fight against both 17 and Twisted Minds. Fortunately, Twisted Minds just going to be in their smoke cloud right now as they do get their knock player back on his feet. 17, as he saw, up to full strength, just making their way slowly up the hill. Is New Happy had to leave their compound, but this is precarious at best.
It is. I feel like 17 is, I mean, for good reason being scared of Twisted Minds, but maybe more so than they need. They're probably waiting to see the next circle, and this is the worst case scenario for them. You have T5 up on the hill above, you have Twisted down below, now Heaven.
Oh, Heaven, nice swords.
That's towards the northwestern side. Luna Galaxy is still right around this area too. So expect to see, like, once this fight properly pops off, that many more teams will engage.
And being back in the roster once again here today, they liked what they saw yesterday.
Heaven, वापस.
Human has been flushed out, so it's just the 3 from Freaks coming from that north side, but they've got a lot of different options available.
Soul किधर है यार?
Yeah, this next zone. But if they can find these kills, these points on a New Happy, that would be fantastic. New Happy just kind of lying down right here, trying to survive, waiting for either Luna or Freaks to push, and now FW is coming up here to join the party as well.
And FW versus Luna. New Happy, they're waiting for teams to come to them. They know that Luna has to cross the rope. They know that's going to cause fights, but FW is saying, you know what, we don't want to wait for Luna to do something. We'll come up here and start the fight right away.
They got to do something. They've got the blue at their back.
और short है
So
Tonke.
Kraken will go down. So Vinny is down as well. Haven and Posa the last 2.
अरे Tonke भाई छील रहा है बंदा.
Immediately sprayed down by Tonke as Posa is going to use that crate as what little cover he has available to him. And here comes the grenade from Raze. Will it land true? It goes just a little bit too far as Posa gets down to about half HP.
Incredibly clean fighting here from FW. Yes, they get 6x knock, but he's back on his feet already. And now Tonke.
Oh, Groza सामने, Groza सामने. अरे.
Find the third, and that is.
और 17 की little goes down होते हुए perfect से.
FW.
With no info to go off of either, they came in swinging.
Seriously, 8 kills now for them, but now you can see Kwandong Creek's looking over in that direction as well, spraying through the smoke, trying to find something. Banana 1 gonna have to hide down long enough just to get the heal off, but you can see there in the lead out is Theraton 5 still going back and forth with 17.
17 versus Theraton 5.
So far, Xiaobei has gone low and separated from the rest of the boys to try to find a spot inside this next zone. And Twisted Minds, well, they've stayed in the same place that they have been, so
they're
still something to worry about.
Fortunate right now that neither 17 or T5 can really do a whole lot to try and engage with Twisted Minds, because that allows for Twisted to look north and find knocks up there. You can see example able to find down Tonke.
और शाहू दान होते रहे Osseted Junior से और finish भी कर दिए गए.
Engage in this direction.
Xiaowu knocked and immediately flushed here as you see in the kill feed FW trying to get rid of New Happy as well as lose a couple, and then Patapong on time.
T5 अच्छी उसमें लग रही है.
It's the knock, gets the flush, and now it's just down to
Gen G भी आ गई भाई.
Was not part of that fight. Gen G.
Oh, दोनों.
They saw all this going on, and they come over here. And look at this, Xiaobei.
Oh, Xiaobei.
Perfect time. Gets the knock on a Rex. Adder, the last one alive here on this side. Barpo has been left back at the compound.
Catching them by surprise, able to get one knock. Adder being suppressed.
Oh, फटेगा.
Gen G pushing over this ridge.
Oh, Xiaobei.
Up front, but Xiao Xiaobei shuts them down. They get the circle, and now they can only wonder, oh no, had we just stayed back in the compound.
Oh, Gen G's eyes too big for their stomachs.
अरे बारपो देख रहा है भाई.
Goodness, Barpo almost put Xiaobei.
OC भी down है, header भी down है.
Helmet very busted for Xiaobei. At least he's got time to stop down and heal up. But meanwhile, Theraton 5 has disengaged from this fight, and they're starting to surround Twisted Minds. As Twisted is going to have to leave their little dip that they're playing right now. As they're going to start things off, though.
Up until this point, T5 has been really good at isolating angles, been able to fight 17 without Twisted Minds engaging in there. But
भाई
the big boys, the first
भाई Twisted Minds के नहीं रुक पाओगे भाई.
Once again, able to find Nox. It's usually not him who's up and active on the kill feed, but he sure has been throughout this grand final.
Oh, what you know? You've seen the kill feed. Beam from Guangdong Freaks actually stole away some of those 17 kills, some more points.
Oh, भाई Rossetti Junior shot तो है.
Quick flick onto Perfectix. Now it's down to Example and Lou. Example's got to send it back into the shack to smoke.
Genji down है नहीं मतलब जिंदा है तो सही भी.
And now Theraton 5, they know exactly where these guys are, and they're outside of the zone.
Yeah. What can you do about it? Almost everyone's outside the circle. It's just Relo and Flood, I believe, that's inside on one side. We have 3 players inside the circle. The remaining 10 have still yet to find a way. And keep in mind, Falcons are still 4 up, and this is their first kill of the entire game. They've been playing position over kills, and it makes sense because all the action has been in the south, on the northwest, in areas where Falcons are able to get eyes on. So they've been saying, you know what? I mean, we'll take the free placement points and win the game in the end. And right now, it looks like they're in a really good position to do so.
अरे भाई short है. Rossetti finish ले.
Right there as he got a little bit too close. I think they have eyes on the Twisted Minds shack. They forced them in there as they were shooting them in the backs here while they were engaged in this fight with Theraton 5. So Rossetti will have to stop down, heal up just a little bit. 6 kills for Theraton 5. Still alive, 417. Barpo still alive for Gen G. But
shot है Rossetti.
If they can get all members back on their feet.
Busted helmet, no vest. Still, he melts through Example. Now it's going to be forced to push.
Flood.
Shuts him down.
कहाँ से भाई वो मर जाते भाई Twisted Minds वाले. मजा आती है यार Twisted Minds.
No. Bit short, Xiaobei. Still playing around that hillside. Get Roth back on his feet. And Relo, they'll finish him off with the Molotov. So that's 4
kills for Falcons. 2 और मिल सकते हैं.
And they're in a 4v1. They might have an idea of where Xiaobei is. They might have an idea where Barpo is. But this is scary times here for Falcons.
Definitely is for Xiaobei right now, being able to outlive Twisted Minds, knowing how close it is on the leaderboard. Every single point they get now could be crucial.
I mean, they know that they've got their win. The win is in their hands. And that should give them a little bit of an indication of where this guy is. And now they should know where both are, because Barpo's going to be taking the shots from the compound.
कितने mechanical तो हैं? पूरे नहीं इतना?
Spray gets him so low, but Xiaobei
zone से भर गया.
Down to the blue in the end.
नहीं zone से भर गया यार Xiaobei.
And that will be a game 1 victory for the Falcons with 4 kills.
There's a world where that's a 0-kill win for Falcons, but at least they had a chance to engage later on in the game. And again, no reason for them not to play this game.
Well, you guys at home who are watching the show, make sure you guys go into the, well, I mean, you're going to be watching on the English YouTube channel anyways, but you can vote on who we're going to be interviewing next with Several Worlds Gaming, whether it's going to be Falcons, Na'Vi, or Enigma Galaxy. Make sure you guys get your votes in right now. But as the last note for me, in reference to that last game, really unfortunate to be I8 or Falcons, because TJB, Enigma Galaxy, Na'Vi, and even IWNRX were able to get some consistent points in that last match, make it even harder now for you to catch up to these teams and break through to top 3. And whereas at the bottom of the tables, I mean, we did have Nsilo get a good couple amount of points here, able to put them up to 10th place, which is going to be very important as we progress through the day, because the gap is starting to grow here as well in the bottom of the rankings, where previously it wasn't that many points. But we didn't see Furia, we didn't see Virtus Pro really step up. Ultra Ego getting 0 points on this game. I hate to say it, Max, but it's looking like your boy Rosemary might not make it through.
Well, unfortunately, it's a reality I have to kind of accept, Jason, that might be happening here. I mean, at what point do we start counting out for real some of these bottom squads in the bottom 5? Because we're going to get to that point where right now, IHC technically, oh yeah, they might be able to do a bit of a comeback, but if they still remain in that position by, you know, game 3, I'm telling you, IHC are out, then it's going to be VP, then Furia, then Ultra Ego. We're going to go up that list really, really quickly. Game 1's already done, and we're going on the Erangel, and we know, Jukes, that Erangel right now, for these top teams, for your TJBs, for your Navis, for your Enigma Galaxies, for your IWNRXs, this is going to be their battleground where they get a huge portion of their points. So those bottom squads are going to have a real tough time making it out of that red zone.
Oh, yes, they are, man. I mean, IHC, VP, I think they need to win this next game, to be honest with you, if we're going to see them make it on in, because that door is just closing on them, and they need to kick it wide open with something big, I think, in order to make it into that next stage. But another team that I'm really worried about, Max, and another player that we might not see in the finals is Z-Wolf. And that would be crazy, because Enigma Galaxy just popped off. Navi, TJB, if they want to make it straight to the finals, they need a big game here and soon.
Yeah, we have to see eventually. I'm even looking at Tiamba and Getsoroy here. We need to see a game if you want to try and contend by the end of today for that top 3 position. Again, you got so many storylines happening. The race for top 3, the race to make in survival stage, the race to also not get out of the conversation in the first 2 to 3 matches of today. You still want to stay relevant in the conversation. So all 16 teams have something to fight for here going into these matches, and going into a wrangle, you know it's going to get real good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming do or die time here if you want to have a chance to make it, whether it's into the survival stage or into the grand finals directly. Let's head into our first angle of 3 of the day with John, Allen, and Blaine.
I absolutely agree 100% that it is going to be. Going down from southeast side of Plain Path, Milton Power Peninsula up towards Zaki.
Yeah, we do have a bit of an interesting playing path coming through already. Again, I think that when we look at these games, it is so difficult to call who's going to be dropping out and heading through into the bottom 5. There is a fair few teams that I think all of us here on the broadcast do want to make it into that top 3. But it's hard to decide at this point in time because it has been so close. We do have so many teams who are really good, who could absolutely make an impact in the grand finals, but there is still only 3 slots, and that isn't changing.
No, if you want to grab another slot and you're not making it into those top 3, you need to go through the survival stage, and that is a brutal gauntlet, let me tell you. The teams that set foot in there, it's kind of anyone's game. I mean, if you play 3 days, you're only playing 2 days of games, which makes it very, very volatile, and it is definitely the last chance that you are trying to cling on to. So hopefully, vying and bidding for the top 3 spots will be able to put up their best show today, because right now the top 3 just had a pretty banger game, right? A lot of double digits being displayed towards the top.
Yeah, a huge amount towards that top side already. And again, like you're saying on that last match, a lot of our teams probably are looking over towards the leaderboards and like, suddenly just became really difficult to rank up with Enigma Galaxy, Tongjiba and Navi all having really strong matches. I think you look at Tongjiba, 161 points. They might have just cleared themselves in towards a guaranteed top 3. Still, things can change. I think it'll depend on this next map. But now the fact that we are on that northwest side, Tongjiba starting in Symphony, there is a strong rotational path for them ahead.
Just to put in context the point scorings from last week from group, third place. Well, Major Pride were in 4th, got 185.
चलो पढ़ाई करने जा, यहाँ पर ये खेलने वाले जा, यहाँ क्या बैठा है, मेरी बात सुनना है।
मैं तो काम कर रहा हूँ भाई अपना, तू कुछ अपना कर। Looking for a little bit of an improvement so far over the course of these.
Stream चलेगी भाई।
They're on the bubble. 7WG managed to get caught up with them, so let's take a listen.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time is going to be in regards to Team Queso. I got a chance to talk to one of the players. He said that the biggest issue so far in PMGC league stage has been individual errors. They're trying to clean that up. So I know Blank was talking about just teams having to be a little bit more disciplined, especially those bottom teams. This is one team that has to do that, but they also have to be willing to take risks. And right now, the energy is not quite there yet for Team Queso. Hopefully they can pick it up.
Please try again later. The new I mean, absolutely. More discipline, individual mistakes, seemingly how they feel their games haven't been going as strong as they could do. And right now, it's not the time to be making those sorts of mistakes, Blank, in that 12th place.
I think it's fair enough. When you get down towards 12th place, you're right on that bubble. Individual mistakes are going to be happening because there is a lot of pressure on you. This is not a case of, oh, we dropped out the top 3, so I guess we'll go to the survival stage, we'll play out there. This is a case of, we've dropped out into the bottom 5. we're not going any further, we're going home. So those individual mistakes are going to happen more frequently, especially in that last day, which this is why the point scoring margin here is so terrifying for a lot of teams, because it's not a case of we have to beat 1 or 2 squads ahead and they're 10 points behind, so it should be easy to stay ahead. No, it is Getso-Roy in 8th place all the way down to 15th place with Virtus Pro, all with a big chance to
भाई सेमीफाइनल तक पहुंच गया।
So it's going to be an absolute war up until those end moments.
भाई टेकन 8 का टूर्नामेंट चल रहा है यार, एक अपडेट है गाइस जो भी देख रहे हो स्ट्रीम, अपने बंदे क्वार्टर फाइनल्स तक पहुंच गए थे टॉप 8, लेकिन अभी जस्ट अपडेट आया है लाइक 11 मिनट पहले जो Esports फेडरेशन इंडिया के ऑफिशियल पेज पे आया है कि अपने बंदे सेमीफाइनल्स तक पहुंच गए हैं। वासफी बिलाल भाई सेमीफाइनल तक पहुंच गए हैं, बहुत ही कांग्रेचुलेशन यार। टॉप 4 टेकन 8 के टॉप 4 में
whatever you can get, you'll take it. I mean, right now, 11th to 12th place blank, it's a tie.
मजा आएगी भाई।
Phase in Team K, so it is so close.
ब्रिक्स Esports चैंपियनशिप चल रही है, उसमें टॉप 8 और टॉप 4 में पहुंच गए यार अपना बंदा।
As well, it's not only that one point that you don't get, it's not the point that you don't get, it's also a gain for them as well, right? So it becomes an even more dramatic swing, losing those small little margins early on into a match, and that's what teams are looking to avoid. Right now, it feels like Tianba is kind of on this island on their own, just sort of the only team not super likely to be able to make it to the top 3 and not super likely to drop.
Yesterday my doctor messaged me and asked why don't you come to the studio.
Right now it's kind of a weird placement and a unique one.
क्या कर रहा है बोल तो रहा हूँ तेरे को।
Gamma's got somewhat comfortable with this position though, I would say. I think I said it yesterday that they're not quite as good as our leading teams. Our teams who are desperately trying to clamber up towards a position that feels safe. Getso-Roy and Vengeance are the interesting ones to me, because I look downwards and Cilio, Furia, VP and IHC all have this pedigree behind them. So it's just odd to me seeing that, you know, it's Getso-Roy and Vengeance who are ahead of them here. And I think that they have just had a better understanding of what improvements they've needed to make throughout the days. We had a nice little graphic pop up just earlier for Vengeance where it was 1.7 average eliminations to now 2.8 going into day 3. So they've definitely
okay TJB versus
went lower deck,
IWNRX,
cleared up those holes, those breaches in the ship, and
short
because of it.
Definitely need to be sailing on open water there, nice and calm. That's what you're looking for, but there's going to be plenty of chop, swell in the future, I'm sure, for them too. Because as you said, it's going to be an all-out war here down towards the bottom side of those tables, especially, not just towards the top side, but these small margins, these small little openings. Teams condensing towards the middle of this map here, over towards South George. This circle pushes up to the northwest side of this. And in general, teams seem to be favoring a more central style as we've become accustomed to.
ये अभी military base पे क्या कर रहे हैं? Noki है, Zoom है.
SI8 on our screens. That's the team that I think you really want to get in towards that top 3, but is looking less and less likely as the day goes on. Realistically, Nick realistically, Galaxy, Na'Vi, Tongji Bao, all through these teams
rotation
game and
query के आगे जो races होती हैं उनसे होते हुए कोचिंग की inside की इधर से left से
strong match. It's going to be hard to
Headphone
top of them
unless
they completely fall on these games.
और यहाँ पे नॉर्थ जॉर्जिया के ऊपर वाली जो हिल्स होती हैं उनके ऊपर जो टावर है, जो नॉर्थ जॉर्जिया के जो अपार्ट्स के ऊपर जो हिल होती है उधर से भाई 28 जो भी टीम थी
it gives you this sense of calm, right? Which I think
consistency, because क्या bond gameplay bond aim है
more going on for our teams towards the bottom of the lobby, that fear of being knocked out of the whole tournament. Our teams at the top, the worst thing that can happen to them is to go to survival stage.
That's still though a much less favorable result, as I said before, right? For survival stage.
Well, much less favorable.
देखते हैं किसका सिक्का बैठता है.
What, than getting a direct qualification?
मेरे को लग रहा है यार ये हाँ बिल्कुल भाई मैं सोचने वाला था कि यही जाएगा मेरे पास मेरे मुंह से नहीं निकली ये पहाड़ी वाला जोन होता है और यहाँ पे देखो जहाँ पे ये है ना INS और ये जो है यहाँ पे जो घर होता है ना भाई ये वाला घर ना बहुत फेमस है बहुत ज्यादा फेमस है भाई मेरा जो हमेशा रोटेशन रहता है ना लाइक जब हम खेलते मैं वहीं डालता हूँ गाड़ी में वो जगह मिल गई तो टॉप 3 गारंटी वहीं करता है वो वाला बहुत बेकार
but in general it's still got to be a big weight on your shoulders especially if you place fourth
टियान में कटकम बैठी है
that you only miss out by like 1 or 2 points or even on a tiebreaker
गाइस जी होते हैं भाई टीम्स देख रहे हो एक बंदा नहीं मरा है 10 मिनट रन जानी रोटेशन में ही चल रही सारी टीम में रोटेशन और एक इंडियन लॉबी होती है इसकी में पगले साड़े बहुत हाई लेवल हो जाता है लाइक एटलीस्ट 15 मिनट तक तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है इंटरनेशनल लॉबीज में
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to see that one happen. I agree. It's not fun going into survival stage, but for like I said, for these teams at the top side, getting that first strong game of the day.
मेरे को लग रहा है फैल्कन इमेज निकाल देगी अच्छी पोजीशन है लाइक यहाँ से ऊपर वाली जो चोटी होती है रोटेबल वाली वहाँ पे मतलब रोटेशन देना आसान है अगर रीचर जोन बना तो यहीं से जाना भी आसान है
Next 5 matches, Enigma Galaxy, Navi and Dongjibao all just laughing really at this point in time because they've been able to accelerate ahead from a lot of our squads. Still looking to put those points margins back up again. But there has just been mistakes coming through from both these teams. IWNRX not always looking as bold and as controlling over some of their team fights we've seen over past years. And the Falcons, I would say that there's mistakes happening on that team. They're still a really strong squad. They're still putting up points margin because they all are individually very strong players. But there's just some little moments here and there from them where I'm like, that didn't go well and it could have gone better. For instance, even that fight versus FaZe, I think although East is in boot camp, technically quite central,
FaZe एक गुड गेम
the central position to make sure that you're not going down.
अब अगर यहाँ से अच्छे यार बॉटम टीम्स ने यहाँ से अच्छा नहीं किया अब तो फिर मुश्किल हो जाएगा भाई फिर तब टूर्नामेंट से बाहर होने का टाइम आ गया
You can vote for them to be the team that is interviewed. If you're enjoying the interviews, you guys, the fans, have an opportunity to let us know which team you would like to hear from next. And if you're in the English PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel, you can cast your vote for either Falcons, Navi, or Enigma Galaxy. We're all on standby for an interview with 7WG at some point during the show. So
Monitor-Acer नाम तो काफी सुना पर टीम कंफर्म नहीं कर पाई है.
We'll catch up with them and get you all that juicy gossip as to what they're feeling, how they're looking at the last matches today, and getting on into this one.
यार वही है यार इस वाला जोन है.
To have your say,
हाँ वही है वही यही गाइस ये वाला कंपाउंड जहाँ पे 0 है वही कंपाउंड है गाइस सीधा अगर आपने वो कंपाउंड लिया आपका टॉप 3 कंफर्म्ड है ये वाला जोन है तो.
Everest overlooking their domain.
We see some nasty fights on top of Everest throughout Group Red.
मैंने पहली बताया था.
And this is one of the circles that I really wanted to watch. I don't think we've seen too many Everest circles before, and I always
मस्त बैठी में 0 वाले बिल्कुल हिलना भी नहीं है बस नॉक फिनिश नहीं होना मस्त बैठे रहो
kind of lie along
नेक्स्ट टीम को क्रैश मारने दो 0 है का मैच है भाई पूरा 0 है आराम से यहाँ से 20 किल चिकन निकाल सकती है मतलब 20 पॉइंट्स गेम निकल सकती है अच्छा खेली तो वियतनाम की टीम आई थिंक 0
the king of the mountain because FaZe is now looking to head up over towards that eastern side and IHC is looking
FaZe सही तो है पोजीशन वहीं खेल रहा है
FaZe is getting back a little bit but I think that is from off angles.
Maxman's highlighted something as well.
अच्छा ISC मेरे को यहाँ नहीं उड़ा गया ना भाई मेरे को रे भयान स्कोप्स क्या एंगल उड़ा हुआ बंदे ने.
A game go without losing a
VP versus Monitor-Acer yeah it will happen it will be happen it has to be happen.
He's also brought up in our group chat that this is a circle that IHC used to qualify.
और वैन की लिली डाउन हुए हैं NRX की तरफ से और कंफर्म भी हो चुके हैं. ओके जॉर्जिया पूल में हो रही है फाइट कंटेनर्स.
Hey man, the previous point was from
और मैक्स भी डाउन है यमक भी डाउन है.
Oh you're right. Oh my goodness. I think it was Kalaris actually. That's my bad.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. Credit where credit's due, you know.
It was hot jukes.
But yeah,
my bad.
we do finally lose some players. 30 minutes in, So 2 players now down, but yeah, a lot of players just looking to keep themselves on side. It needs Vengeance to lose those 2.
Vengeance के 2 बंदे बचे
was on the up and up there. I think they really
और यहाँ पे Falcon versus Navi 2 top heavy contenders और यहाँ पे Navi के 11 डाउन हुए हैं और फिनिश भी कर दिए गए हैं नेशन के द्वारा
flushed out. Now what is Navi's decision here? Do they continue the fight
or
do they send away?
और नाइस ही जल्दी चेक करें फर्स्ट एड नहीं लगा पाएंगे और नीड्स की बरसात और नीड्स थोड़े दूर
Falcons playing in and I think for Navi it might just be a case of leave this alone, try and head further in, but Team Cases already picks up that strong compound.
Falcon के सिर्फ 2 ही बंदे हैं, क्या चल रहा है? Falcon क्यों? इतना विश्वास है क्या? ना नावी के लिए कवर आया और नीड आया और नावी ने डिसीजन लिया कि हमको रिस्क नहीं लेना है. We are on top 2. We will play slow. We will have 5-6 games, then we will definitely win top 3. कैसा है? बढ़िया मुल्क यार आजा डिस्कॉर्ड बैठा हूँ देख प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर कैसे खेलते देख आज इतना जल्दी लाइव अब ये लगातार 8 बजे तक ही चलेगी फिर शाम को आऊंगा 9 बजे रात में सॉरी
It's a quick decision they make because they know that
ये देख कैसे देख रोटेशन देती है टीम 16 की 16 टीम जितना देख
to them. They wanted just consistent games coming through and that circle really does not benefit them whatsoever. Though Falcons are running into
आज गेम नहीं होगा गेम रात में होगा
the zone of death.
टीएन में गेम किसी फैल्कन के पास अच्छा खेला यार मार सकते नहीं ओह बसड़ होगी बे यार ईस्ट में तो बसड़ है पूरी सॉरी वेस्ट में बसड़ हो चुकी है फैल्कन है नावी है टीक्यू है और टीएन भाई स्किन देख बंदा क्या स्किन जंप कर रहा है भाई शॉट है यार शॉट है AQZ और नीड आया मुंह पे
the nade over the top from QZ to just make life
टीएन को अच्छा करना पड़ेगा लेकिन नाम पे रहना पड़ेगा निया नावी के P6 भी डाउन
really sit in front of the
देख के सीख रहे हो ना इस इंप्रेसिव वहां रात को आता हूं खेलने मुझे ठीक है
a pest over the ridge line just launching nades at you
तेज के मेला
getting backed off but
Falcon का रिवाइव हो गया बंदा
just have to slow things down the question I have
फ्री फायर खेलो भाई ना भाई उस गेम का तो भाई कोई मतलब ही नहीं
they do have to move out to the
मेरे को तो बहुत स्लो लगता है वो गेम लाइक लिटरली बहुत ज्यादा स्लो लगता है खेलने का तो खेल लिया जाए बहुत स्लो गेम है
trying to play around where ASA is playing and then any ground
और यहाँ पे Falcon का रोटेशन टीएन के बगल से या फिर टीएन पर ऐसा है ओके भाई ये देखो यार क्या मारा है मतलब क्या दिमाग लगाया टीएन Falcon वालों ने लाइक फंस गए अपने जाल में बट 4 स्मोक डाल के टीएन पर रेस्ट कर दिया क्योंकि पीछे रोटेशन में मर जाते अब कम से मैं फाइट तो लेंगे और एक बंदे को नॉक फिनिश एंड आईजीआई 2 बेस्ट खेलेंगे भाई फ्री फायर वर्ल्ड को ब्लॉक कर दूं फ्री फायर नेक्स्ट नहीं यार क्यों ब्लॉक करना आईजीआई 2 तो बिल्कुल यार आईजीआई 2 कौन मना कर सकता है ओजी गेम बट कुछ नहीं कर सकते फाल्कन है हमने टीएन में भी डन है
the players on the ridge line.
बोला ना ईस्ट मसड़ हो गई है.
There's the off angle coming on through for Enigma Galaxy, who really want to pick these points up where they can.
मेरे को याद है जब IGI खेलता था लाइक मेरे को याद नहीं 2 था फर्स्ट हाउस में सबसे पहले वैसे चक्कू वाला होता था भाई. क्या मजा आती थी भाई स्टेल्थ मिशन करने में. कब खेलोगे भाई? अरे यार खेल ऐसे नहीं होता यार. पांडा गेम ब्रदर रैंडमली नहीं कोई भी गेम उठाया खेल लिया. मेरे को भी गोस्ट ऑफ सुष्मिता बोलता मैं तो गोस्ट ऑफ सुशीमा भी खेलना है मेरे को अभी तक क्रू 2 कंप्लीट करना है. बहुत सारी गेम्स है मेरे पास यार तो मैं रैंडमली नहीं उठा खेल सकता. और मैं ऑफिस वाला बंदा हूं तो मेरे को काफी सारी चीजें ध्यान में रखनी पड़ती है. भाई एनजीएक्स उठा के चिल आराम से बस 3 सेकंड जाएगा एनजीएक्स के लिए.
Really chilling right now. That is
टीआरवा के 2 बंदे रोटेशन दे दिए और यहाँ पे आईएनएस वर्सेस एनजीएक्स वर्सेस टीक्यू और यहाँ पे 3 टीमों के बस टीक्यू शॉट लेके घुस गई है और टीक्यू वाले घुसे वो पेल दिया भाई. आईएनएस के 3 को पेल दिया गया है. और फैश की अच्छी शॉटगन फैश और नीड आ रहा है. फैश नीड आ रहा है. मॉली आई फैश मार. अरे फैश मॉली से पकड़े गए और यहाँ पे वेस्ट्रोन और रेड लिक को कुछ करना पड़ेगा. रेड लिक का अच्छा कवर फायर स्ट्रोन मॉली करते हुए नीड गया. रेड लिक का नीड और नहीं है कोई नहीं है. रेड लिक के नीड से एक बंदा फिनिश हुआ. फेस को रिवाइव मिल सकता है। हाँ फेस को रिवाइव मिल सकता है। रिवाइव इज गोइंग ऑन, वेयर इज टू बी गोन। भाई आपका पीसी कौन सा है भाई? मेरा पीसी आप डिस्क्रिप्शन में, पीसी डिस्क्रिप्शन में देख सकते हो सारी, मेरा सीपीयू वगैरह, मेरा ग्राफिक कार्ड सारी डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिस्ट दे रखी है मैंने।
Nick Galaxy still going at it though, and with one player down.
और अब वेस्टर्न और फेस भाग के वापस आ गए क्योंकि जोन है तो फाइट लेने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं बनता भी। एटलीस्ट नेक्स्ट जोन तक तो इससे 6 ओके नीड आया सेक्सी आईएससी का, बट कवर फायर में ले लिया गया आईएससी के बंदे को। फिर अच्छे खेल लिए। ओके भाई, ओके भाई अभी पढ़ लेता हूँ, स्ट्रीम पे मिलते हैं। ओके ब्रदर पढ़ लो। बट ये टाइम तो चिल करने को था, घूम के बाहर दोस्तों से मिल के आ। रिचर गेटिंग रिचर, टीजेबी 161 किल। ओ भाई ये आई8 वालों ने क्या रोटेशन दिया है यार।
Over towards the Everest position.
मेरे को देखना है वीपी के टिक्स ने टीजेबी को 676 को नॉक किया है।
Ziol still up and available. Nick Galaxy takes control of that high ground plateau. Incilia will sit underneath, but both these teams fairly protected off against one another, though on the edge of the circle.
Nick Galaxy with that high ground ridge overlooking the fields to the south, they can hold on to this. Even with 3 players, they'll have a massive impact and a great chance to pick up more elimination.
यार ये 4 टीम है ना भाई, ये 4 टीम है, निग्मा गैलेक्सी, AWNRX, Vulcan और i8। इन चारों में काफी क्लोज रहेगा यार। लाइक Vulcan के दोनों गेम अच्छे नहीं गए आज के, बट Vulcan will do a comeback। मेरे को टॉप और एक्शन पे बहुत विश्वास है। मेरे को i8 का रोटेशन दिखाओ, i8 है कहाँ भाई? आपने असेंबली कर बनाया था? नहीं, मैंने स्टोर से बनवाया था। मैंने बनवाया था दिल्ली में नेहरू प्लेस पे जाके। शॉप का नाम मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा। और 676 फिनिश हो गए हैं और उजुम ने डाउन किया टिक्स जी को i8 के। पीसी चेक यूपीआई वंस, यूपीआई मैंने चेंज कर तो दिया। और अब फ्यूरिया वर्सेस जीरो है, और जीरो है इतना अच्छा होने के बावजूद जीरो है। सेंटर में थी ये टीम।
A wonderful start for them here on our angle, and that puts them back up into a position where they can challenge the teams that sat around that 11th place bubble.
13 आपका ट्रांजैक्शन चेक करो। हाँ हाँ आ गए 39। क्यों?
There was an unfortunate finish on Sandhawk for them to kick off the day. They had that north side position. The circle was
और वीपी के आईसी को फिनिश किया फलक ने। लाइक अच्छा रोटेशन आया। i8 वालों को दिखाओ तो सही, i8 वालों को अब तक नहीं दिखाया यार।
letting that phase them. Will be moving in again from the north side, but they pushed in, and as you say, 7 eliminations. The placement points will start to add up fairly soon, and hopefully.
Okay, देखते हैं वीपी क्या करती है। वीपी वर्सेस अल्ट्रीगो, बटर्स प्रो।
Get a little bit bigger.
Not a good tournament for them. और ISC भी आ चुकी है यहाँ फाइट में। वो फेज ऊपर से, फेज ISC को मार सकती है। और TGB डाउन होती हुई। और ट्रिपल एस ने टिक्सी को डाउन किया, फिनिश कर दिया। और VP आउट, आई थिंक VP डन। VP टीम से लड़ती हुई मरी है, AE फलक वगैरह। और फेज अच्छा डिफेंड करती हुई। एक नेड मेला, एक नेड मॉली, मेला नेड मॉली कुछ तो हो।
Systems go for every single team here as they attempt to transform this game into something that keeps their tournament alive.
भाई AS8 का बहुत अच्छा गेम है।
Flex out from the south side, establishing a full baseline of fire to cut teams out, trying to move from the top of the hill. FaZe lose Mela on the high ground, still Furia close by. They've lost one, but they still have a little
short
left in the
short तो है।
Unfortunately though, that might just be the sales.
Xanax ने फिनिश कर दिया भाई एक बंदे को फ्यूरिया के। भाई एमो खत्म हो गई भाई, नॉइस पे एमो खत्म हो गई। एक सेकंड गाइस, चैट पढ़ रहा हूं, बहुत हेवी गेम चल रहा है। हां हां हेलो क्या हुआ? वो टीजीबी फलक शॉट यार, फलक भाई रेस्पेक्ट बंदे के लिए भाई, बहुत प्यारा खेल रहे भाई पाकिस्तान वाले। 4 पॉइंट्स भाई। हां PMGC में देख तो सही।
अरे मेरे को वो चालू करना पड़ेगा तेरी स्ट्रीम फिर, और डिले रहता है।
तो मैं तेरे को स्क्रीन शेयर करता हूं ना डिस्कॉर्ड पे, रुक एक सेकंड।
हां कर दे, इसमें कर दे। मैं कभी देखता नहीं ना ये सब चीजें, तुम लोग को ऐसा होता है
तो
कि
यहाँ देख लेना, तेरे को समझ में आएगा रोटेशन कितना इंपॉर्टेंट होता है।
Circle starts to push down
यही
towards the south.
देख
You
रहा
have a
हूँ।
great control over towards that fielded area. I think what's going to come into effect though in a little bit is ASI starting to move.
भाई मेरा i3 है, मैं उसमें RAM 8GB कर लूंगा तो सबकी मैं होंगे क्या, 2GB NVIDIA ग्राफिक कार्ड अलाउ भी चलेगा नहीं चलेगा। 2GB NVIDIA ग्राफिक कार्ड नॉट इनफ फॉर ट्रिपल ए गेमिंग, बट आप स्ट्रीमिंग कर सकते हो, स्ट्रीमिंग हो जाएगी आपकी। 8GB RAM कर लोगे तो स्ट्रीमिंग हो जाएगी, लाइक आप मोबाइल गेम स्ट्रीम कर सकते हो। ग्राफिक कार्ड इनफ है मोबाइल गेमिंग स्ट्रीम करने के लिए, लाइक पीसी गेम्स नॉट इनफ।
Luckily they managed to find Falak, and that now flank has been
भाई कोई भी नहीं चलता आजकल 2GB में तो।
आप
स्ट्रीमिंग कर सकते हो क्योंकि i3 में आपका OBS काम कर जाएगा।
ये जो वुकोंग है ना, वुकोंग भाई उसको 8GB कम पड़ता है।
तभी तो मैंने यार वो 12GB वाला लिया है, इसलिए तो मैं एनवीडिया नहीं गया। एनवीडिया में इतने सस्ते मिल ही नहीं रहता भाई। अच्छा खेल अकाउंट में 1039 से तो 1000 अकाउंट में इफेक्ट अच्छे लगते हैं। अरे पागल है क्या, क्यों करे 39 रुपए बचाता है, सोच। ओ नीड, ओरे ओ नीड, ओरे 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 भाई भाई 6 7 8 6 नीड है कम से कम, 7 में 8 में भाई रे। पाकिस्तान की टीम है ये पाकिस्तान की टीम आईक्यू ये ASI8 ये देख 5वें नंबर पे देख। अगर टॉप 3 में है ना तो PMGC जो सबसे बड़ा टूर्नामेंट होता है ना PUBG मोबाइल का, उसके फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालीफाई कर जाएंगे।
and ASI8 controlling from the fields now. Blank, I really like that duo flank out. It was worrying when they took a knock over on the side towards Ego, but they
देख 4 नीडे, एक पे 7 नीडे, देख एमओ भी खत्म बंदों की।
the lack of availability of that as an option. They have controlled this south side, and I'm really in style right now from ASI8. I'd love to see them navigate these circles so well.
Why Pakistan is good in nading?
ASI8. They're doing a
कश्मीर से ट्रेनिंग ली है ना,
a few teams that play down
उनको आदत है।
there is a
कश्मीर से ट्रेनिंग ली है फेंकने की।
they understood the worry that there were going to be
बचपन से मिली भाई उनको ट्रेनिंग।
hilltop towards their position. This is why they take this lineup and they are just causing problems for all these teams.
गिर गया। और बढ़िया फलक को किल मिला भाई।
तो
शांति से बैठा था वो उधर पेड़ के पास।
This could be a massive match for ASI8 to get them back into the picture here.
बाकी गवर्नमेंट भी फेंकती है।
Moving that high ground angle now as Falak tries to roll on forwards. I think staying up on this hill isn't a terrible idea. It's dangerous though.
Zenex versus Falak, Zenex versus Falak.
Capitalize on
this. Falak को damage बढ़ा।
Player, oh my goodness, has to fall back, and that's exactly the sort of danger that I'm talking about. However, just his presence here makes things so much harder for FaZe. It means that they can't go.
अरे तू देखियो, इनके में ना mostly सब 4x लाते हैं, सब 4x।
हाँ वही देख रहा हूँ मैं। अरे 4x का स्प्रे अच्छा चल रहा है एक बार बस।
हाँ 4x में बस बहुत तगड़ा लगता है। ओ IQ अरे भाई कॉल फेर देख, ओरे भाई नॉक भी कर दिया मोरमैन ने।
Interesting. I mean it's a wild rollout. They do find IQ. Mormon goes down to Noki, but potentially Resable here. Exploding the vehicle.
Noki का ऑफेंगल
going down.
Noki का ऑफेंगल।
They need to get this vehicle exploded, but the shots coming in from Noki in a very shrouded position. Man's playing an assassination game.
बहुत अच्छा खेली भाई, मेरे को तो भाई i8 का बहुत अच्छा लगा। But NGX जिंदा है यार, ये प्रॉब्लम है इन लोगों के लिए।
Falak moved in to keep people alive, but unfortunately did go down.
ओ नीड सेक्सी है, खत्म है मामला, खत्म है।
A bounce over the top.
ओए कैसे?
Teammate, but not his life just yet. Another one comes on through.
ओए एक सेकंड के लिए म्यूट हूँ मैं, ठीक है?
Coming through on the back line, Onzens gets that heal off. The shots will ring out as soon as he pokes his head out.
Onzens just trying to live. I think this is becoming more and more likely to be a win here for ASI8. Silio Fash will find Snowix. This is still all battling off on that western side. So Nick the Galaxy do make it fair way through, get a 4th place. I think they're going to be too unhappy with that kind of result here.
Just want to remind people watching as well that we do have an opportunity to vote for a team that you want to see interviewed. If you head over to the English PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel, you can cast your vote in the chat. But let's get locked back in onto this match as ASI8 make their bid towards the top 3. 10 eliminations. For the back line is UZM locking it down from the crate, and they have control over this. Incilio have been a roadblock for everybody trying to move through. IHC, remember as well, they're looking for a top 11 spot to try and close out this game. They've descended from the top of Everest. It looked like they may have done a dust
Hello.
to a top 3 guaranteed. Gomez doesn't know which way to look though. And he has
ओ भाई आईएनएस वाले अग दिए क्या क्लोज रेंज
pushed behind the building, needs some healing, but the blue zone is here. ASIA
गजब खेल रहे हैं
down on this position as well.
गजब भाई सब शॉटगन देख लो हर एक बंदे में शॉटगन मिलेगी
He's fair enough to come through. Zilio might have had a chance on this game.
Oh, Noki.
ASA, they're
भाई बहुत
गुस्से खेल रहे हैं. Monstrous though.
ना दूर नेट जाती
Not likely to be brought back up into action as Western and Red League just attempt to try and get themselves back into a position where they can maybe fight this one out. I don't know how they're looking for them though. Is Fash going down? 3 players still.
ये जॉर्जो की हिल जो होती है ना उसके नीचे है
A huge chicken dinner available here for ASIA.
वो शॉट है यार नोकी 3v2 भाई अगर ये i8 ने चिकन निकाला ना भाई 13 किल्स अरे भाई नीड है यार वेस्ट्रॉन क्या नीड मारा है भाई
अब इनका लोकेशन कैसे मालूम रहती है
अरे ऑडियो क्यों आता है यार सब ऑडियो क्यों आता है खूब क्लियर
ऑडियो मेरे को तो नहीं आता बंदा कहां पर है इतना
तो ब्लूटूथ से चलाता है ना खत्म ASI8 का चिकन डिनर 15 किल्स बढ़िया भाई अच्छा खेले भाई पाकिस्तान वाले बहुत प्यारा खेले इस गेम
एंड्रॉइड है की बात है एंड्रॉइड है
पता नहीं कौन सा फोन है वो वहां जो अवेलेबल होता है वही कराते हैं
and not a lot of teams decided that it might be a good idea to play from the fielded area.
कौन सा फोन है
a really hard place to
play like to
just goes to show
i12 तो इंडिया में था ना स्पॉन्सर होने क्या था
from Pakistan in terms of their control.
ये मेरे को तो वैसा ही लग रहा है
कुछ very well done. It requires some serious maneuvering to make that work.
आजा ये देखते हैं आजा पीसी वाला गेम ही नहीं आएगा दूसरा अभी तक ये गेम कंप्लीट हो गया
क्या चल रहा है बेहतरी चल रहा है
अरे 2 टूर्नामेंट चल रहे हैं ना
But FaZe needs to have a big game if they're wanting to start going after Twisted Minds.
भाई इनका दूसरा गेम चालू ही नहीं हुआ वाह क्या आधे घंटे से वाह बढ़िया भाई
क्या रहे हैं आधे घंटे से एडवर्टाइजमेंट दिखाए जा रहे हैं क्या
अरे मतलब पीसी वाला है ना पीसी पे सीट क्या होता है ना बहुत सारी चीजें करनी होती हैं सोच 16 टीम्स बैठी है 64 पीसी लगाने पड़ेंगे 64 पीसी में कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ ही जाती है यार किसी में पिंग हाई इश्यू किसी में कुछ इश्यू कनेक्शन इश्यू सोच खाली 64 पीसी तो खेलने वालों के लिए फिर और पीसी मतलब स्ट्रीम करवाने वालों के लिए तो बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं यार तो इसमें थोड़ा रहता है आगे देख ये PUBG पीसी का चल रहा है देख
HyperX के हेडफोन्स हैं
भाई लैन चलते हैं भाई लैन सोच बोल के सोच ये देख ये बंदे ये देख ऐसे देख सोच हम तू अच्छा खेलें और हम इंडिया में लैन के लिए क्वालिफाई करें सोच कितना मजा आएगा घर वाले हमको देखेंगे कि हमारे लड़के छोटू से गेम में जिसमें लड़ाई करते रहते थे पागल रहते थे इस गेम में उस गेम में पैसे कमाने जा रहे हैं ऐसे खेलते नहीं सीरियस होके
अब तो है
सीरियस होके खेलते नहीं हो कौन चला तेरी साले तू जयपुरा कौन चला मरवाएगा क्या वैसे चल नहीं चल रहा और डेड करवा दे चैनल देख PMGC देख ग्रुपेलो पाकिस्तान की टीम में चिकन निकाला है अभी ये देख ये रे ये रे और ग्लोबल फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई कर सकते हैं टॉप 3 में आके अभी 15 किल चिकन निकाला है इन्होंने ये रे
गजब है भाई इन लोगों ने यार
ऑन रूट सीरियस होके खेल लो यार सोच हम बैठे हो वहां लेन में ऐसी हमारा भी नाम आ रहा हो मुल्क प्लेस चौधरी गेमिंग नेमेसिस ये देख सारे पीसी लगा रहे हैं कितना बड़ा सेफ ड्रॉप होता है देखियो भाई बहुत मेहनत लगती है लैंड कराने में ये थाईलैंड में हो रहा है ऐसे
थाईलैंड में हो रहा है कि सावरी का हैप्पी नाउ
strong for the most part. I was surprised that Bobo went so aggressive on the chase down against Gustav, and I'm surprised he wasn't punished earlier, but everything turned around and they got up everybody anyway.
I mean, it's 4 angry men who are playing just to try to make anything happen right now, right? And so they get
अबे मैच ही चालू नहीं कर रहे करो यार
something that maybe they can try to pounce on. They're going to go
भाषण देंगे ना भी थोड़ी देर तक
अबे पिछले आधे घंटे से मैच चालू नहीं हुआ ये देख लास्ट मैच खत्म हुआ था ये देख 34 मिनट पहले खत्म हुआ था 35 मिनट पहले खत्म हुआ था लास्ट मैच तब से बैठे हैं ये लोग देख वो ही फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाते हैं भाई खेलते खेलते।
वही अबे हेडफोन देख भाई इनके AKG वगैरह आ रहे हैं।
चालू हो तो गया देख। अरे हेडफोन तो वायर वाले यूज करते हैं, फिर ऊपर वो लगाते हैं नॉइस कैंसिलेशन के लिए बड़ा वाला। देख रहा है तू, देख नॉइस कैंसिलेशन के लिए होता है बड़ा वाला तो सिर्फ कि नॉइस कैंसिलेशन बाहर की आवाज ना आए कुछ भी।
हेडफोन के अंदर एक और हेडफोन।
हाँ हाँ हाँ
ये क्या चक्कर है?
देख कीबोर्ड और माउस में ले, देख ब्लूटूथ माउस है, देख देखो उसने ब्लूटूथ माउस है उसका।
माउस तो ब्लूटूथ है, सबका ही ब्लूटूथ है माउस देख।
देख हाँ भाई क्या ही होते होंगे भाई हेवी। यार मेरे को लेने यार ब्लूटूथ वाले यार, क्योंकि मेरे को ना
मेरे पास तो ब्लूटूथ ही है माउस। पोर्ट्रोनिक्स क्या है? पोर्ट्रोनिक्स
कैसा है? लाइक मतलब नॉर्मल पीसी गेम्स के लिए कैसा होगा? लाइक मेरे को एम वाले नहीं चाहिए।
नहीं उसमें 3 फीचर है इसके अंदर। एक तो डोंगल वाला है जो डोंगल लगा के चलाता हूँ मैं नॉर्मल 2.4 से चलता है। और
अबे बोनस सीरीज लगा लाइव 10 यूसी तो मेरे पास कहाँ से लगाऊं लाइव? बंदे भी तो नहीं है कोई लगाने आते ही। रात में देखेंगे 9 बजे 10 यूसी वाला ये गेम हो जाएगा। वो मेरे पे 10 यूसी यूज कर भी गेम लगाएंगे ठीक है।
और एक ब्लूटूथ वाला है। ब्लूटूथ वाले में क्या होता है कि 2 मोड है, नॉर्मल मोड और लेटेंसी वाला मोड है।
अच्छा लो लेटेंसी मतलब बिल्कुल लेटेंसी नहीं।
हाँ वो 700-800 रुपए का पड़ा था माउस जहाँ पे था।
अरे सीन क्या हुआ ना, परसों मैं ऑफिस का काम कर रहा था, मैंने क्या किया मेरा मॉनिटर है तो ये मेरा 27 इंच का BC 120 गायब। हाँ गायब, रिडीम नहीं करे अभी। मेरे 969 पॉइंट्स हो रहे हैं। मेरे को 30 यूसी और चाहिए 31 मतलब पॉइंट्स और चाहिए रिडीम करने के लिए। अरे 30 का गेम तो ऐसे कर ले, रिडीम कर ले 100 या ऐड ले ले।
हमारे पॉइंट्स वगैरह होते हैं क्या इसके अंदर वाले के अंदर?
हाँ किसके अंदर? यूसी के?
यूसी का बोल रहा है? क्या बोल रहा है?
अरे वो है ना नेमेसिस चैट में ना, वो बोल रहा है और खरीद ले यूसी।
नहीं बताओ हमारे क्या था, हमारे क्या पता क्या था कि कोविडेंट वाले के अंदर कुछ पीयर पॉइंट्स करके कुछ होता था। उसमें मैनेजर वगैरह तुम्हारे को पॉइंट दे सकता था, उस पॉइंट से भी तुम चीजें खरीद सकते थे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स वाला।
अरे हाँ वो तो सबके ही होता है, उनका खुद का स्टोर होता है, उस स्टोर पे से खरीद सकते हो। ओ तेरी ओ जोन देख, आधा जोन पानी में भाई। सोच इतने से एरिया में 16 टीम बैठेंगी। इसकी माँ का क्या भसड़ है, सोच भाई।
अबे तो ये पानी के अंदर जो आइलैंड बने हुए हैं ना वहां चले जाएंगे ना लोग आगे।
नहीं जाते भाई, उधर जोन ही नहीं जाता भाई। उधर जोन बहुत ही रेयर केस में जाता है, नहीं जाते पानी में। कैसे तू बता? ये बंदा फैल्कन फ्लड है, देखिए जो बंदा बैठा है, देखिए यहाँ ये वाला, ये और यहाँ से बंदे पानी में तैरते जाने से सामने एक चुमटिया बैठा है, तुम्हारी गार्ड नहीं फाड़ देगा 2 मिनट में।
broadcast from their perspective. These are the teams we've got online today, so go check that out over on
ये पीसी है, देख पीसी ग्राफिक्स देखियो तू, तेरे को पहले भी तो दिखाया मैं एक बार।
ग्राफिक तो हाई होंगे यार इनके, 200 FPS आ रही होगी
भाई। FPP खेलते हैं यार ये।
अबे कल अपन ने FPP खेला था, याद है तेरे को? कराकिन वाला।
हाँ मजा तो भाई, मजा FPP मजा तो आता है
भाई, कितना मजा आया था भाई। और कल मैंने वो भी खेले थे कई वाव मोड खेले थे भाई, नए वाव मोड चलाए थे मैंने कल। रेसिंग वाला भी था उसके अंदर एक, और वो जॉम्बी वाला मोड आया था ना एक बार, याद कर, जॉम्बी मारने वाला, वो भी खेला था कल अपने। बहुत नए वाव मोड खेला था, तो मैंने लास्ट को भी बंद कर दिया था।
Very unpredictable because everyone is playing sometimes very bad, sometimes very good. So you should be ready for the fight until the last game, like it was in PGS5. I think it's
देख मैं आता हूँ थोड़ी देर में।
like that. If you're not gonna play super good, yeah, and like get 100 points.
I think what Fatulin says here is true, and it's terrifying. They are getting a lot of kill points, not so many placement points. It used to be the other way around, but they always guaranteed themselves in the top of the games and points. Like if they get kills, sure they'll go by them, but they weren't out hunting. They weren't going that greedy for kills this time around. as we've been talking about throughout this broadcast as well, Poro, how Lou have now started to join the firing squad of this Twisted Minds roster. The fact that they can play so well on all fronts, like name one weakness of this roster.
I don't think I can.
That's the thing. That's the thing. They are so good on so many fronts, and yeah, that's part of the reason why, as we're saying, we want to see other teams go out and contest. But how do you go about it?
It's tough. I mean, this is just kind of the definition of you got to play your own game and not worry about them. But the problem is unlike in the past. Not even just specifically for them, but in the past, it was our great teams would oftentimes just lose it.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't have the mentality to hold on to that first place position. And when you got a couple of good teams in the chase, it just became more difficult. But right now, it just doesn't seem like they care at all. And it's crazy, honestly, when you can outkill second by 20 plus kills, all of a sudden placement points don't seem to matter as much anymore.
Exactly. We saw them there, Twisted Minds that is, in a pretty wide split. They sent Lou and Perfectix over towards Minas and Alalis early on in this game while we were listening to the interview with Batulins. Now the rest of the team is coming over, but TSM is in the nearby vicinity as well. Shots are now being fired from Twisted Minds. We get eyes on this Gen G rotation far down towards the southwest side, but there might be a chance for Twisted Minds and TSM to square off early on in this game. And you know what will be the funniest thing of that?
What's that?
Just south of them sits 17. If they read that there is a Twisted Minds TSM fight taking place 200 meters north, I wonder if they'd be interested in peeking over.
I'll tell you what I'm wondering about right now. Theraton 5,
they're vibing,
is all the way off in the north, but they're camping the rotation.
Theraton 5 versus T1, full setup hai guys.
5 camping
Full setup hai.
Absolute Narnia right now, and it's actually going to pay off as they get the first shot.
और raining down, Zenith भी जाएगा.
Zenith is one shot away.
Zenith बच गया, Fluky. Oh, Fluky को उड़ा दिया. Fluky उड़ा दिया.
And Zenith does eventually go down, but T1 going to lose 2 in the process, and now they're split. Type has continued going off to the east. But the last player, Ian, is trying to make his way up to the north, and Patapon ready.
Yeah, great read, great execution by T5 here. Is setting up this camp, taking them out. We saw Theraton 5 do this not the exact same play, but another type of camp on Bridges and Taco against Falcons. I think this is the Theraton 5 way. We look for E pickups. If we don't fight one, we look for gate keeps. And you know what? This time around, it paid off for them. So 2 kills early on, potentially a third if they can find the end 2.
We'll get Fluky back on his feet and probably flush out Zenith. But now, I mean, Pathapong knows that Ian is just running off in the middle of nowhere up in Oasis. Now, the question is, T5, you got your 2 points, right? Your camp was successful. You got your money for it. Now, do you just kind of leave this last guy and head into the circle, or do you stick it out, eat some blue zone damage, try to snake him out of Oasis?
So I know what I would do.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
So what's the smart play then?
It would be just get the hell out of there, guys. But you know what? If they have an E pickup, if they feel like sticking around for a little while longer, it wouldn't be opposed to the T5 strats of vibing for a little while longer here in the blue. As we see everyone else make their way inside the circle. New Happy on the southern side of Impala now sat pretty tight, but with Day Trade coming in right behind them, they should be hearing these vehicles. This could be another camp set up to try and take out an opposing team coming in.
I got to keep one eye on this part of the map here. Even if Day Trade is going to go down, I guess they sniffed something out. You still have Gen G that's making their way on the road. Reaching Puerto. So if this does turn into a fight, and if it lasts any length of time, Gen G could come over here and third party on this, as it does not look like New Happy is going to take the spray in. Instead, I catch Belmoth though, as he's gotten out to go and scout.
I like the fact that New Happy didn't opt to engage. There were only 2 players in position to really do a whole lot with it. And they get the knock. It should be restable. As you can see, there's no clear angle for New Happy to try and approach on this, and it's a weird downhill push that I would hope we don't see them pull up on. But as I say that, AC is already driving down the hill, straight down towards the shoreline to try and go for them.
And yep, Noren's already over there to try to get the revive off, but New Happy, they want all of this. But remember, keep in mind, Gen G, they're starting to make their way up from the south. They could come in here if this fight takes any longer than about 30 seconds. They could be in a perfect position.
I mean, this would be the perfect third-party opportunity for them. Should Nox go New Happy's way as well. The thing is, New Happy has such a good line of sight towards the south that even if they hear the vehicles, they should be aware of a potential third party with pretty good time to react. Circle's closing in. We're seeing an E pickup now being set up by TDT. I believe that is. They'll make their way towards the circle. Not quite sure where they're going to go. You know what would be insane? I'm just going to say it. If this goes, let's go East Island, and they E-pick-up onto the island, that would be the best timed E-pick-up in PUBG Esports history.
Truly would, but God, don't let it go to the island, please.
Imagine, though.
I mean, it would be a
It's sick, like the best E-pick-up of all time.
It really would. It would be the smartest play ever. Well, we'll see if that does in fact go that way. It's not going that way.
Don't say it. I like to have the hopes alive. And this is a circle where it theoretically could, but even TSM is expecting it at this point. They're also setting up an E-pickup up towards
PUBG just didn't have a lot of time
to
something that's really quite something that we need to hammer home here is that if they get into
to wrap around, but of course he has a whole other set of issues given that he's a solo player. Circle north, straight down the middle, face at dead center as we head up towards the
instruments late खेलेगी यार मेरे को instruments का सीखना है
not you no I knew I thought we had written the script but I clearly read it wrong.
Look, you were using the power of hopes and dreams.
True.
Unfortunately, the power of their hopes and dreams, the player hopes and dreams, outweighed yours this one time.
You know what? It's fair. It's fair.
Yep. Well, Gen G did avoid that eastern row. They
KDF के salute ने Human down किया कहाँ KDF?
West of Impala, but that's going to put
center me almost.
Step of Cerberus. New happy. Meanwhile, have separated from Daytrade. Daytrade got everybody back on their feet, so they're going to continue up. And we'll see if those E-pickups, CFW, they're starting to make the drop in off of their E-pickup. TSM does not look like they took theirs, so that is just a helicopter in the air.
Yeah,
has flashed down to about half HP.
Now this circle is incredibly interesting too.
Oh, 6x down. Barpo को freeze कर दिया Cerberus के Solosji ने.
Gen G forced to kind of pull up on Cerberus. They'll turn
around. TDT versus FW.
And get away with the rest. If you look to where Twisted Minds is and draw a line all the way over to Daytrade, that's kind of the first layer of this multi-layer circle going up towards the north. So the south side is in the bottom, gets taken out. The middle, and then you have the north side on the top. It's so hard, if not near impossible, to scout north, and the same thing the other way around in this circle. The middle of the circle just becomes a vision block. The little ridge line then you have going down towards the south. So all the teams that are currently sat from, well, effectively 17, TD team, and all these teams in south, have no chance of scouting north. So in case we get a hard shift off this next
banana one sexy chunga bhai
commit to a rest in the open, but it's not gonna happen.
मजा आ गया भाई देख के नेड.
Pinned down. I thought they might have been able to get the revive off, but FW is not wasting any time at all. Ray's coming over there. Banana one got the initial grenade as Van was going to just bleed out here, but fortunately for TDT, they have a compound to retreat to, some hardcover to work around, and FW, they're just going to go ahead and take tires at this point. Nobody on their backs just yet. They have phase off to the just off to the west, but they are in a comfortable position, dead center circle. But Luna Galaxy, after taking those initial shots towards TDT, they're starting to make their way over here. Now FW is spotted this out, and Daytrade is just off to their east, so this could turn into almost a 4 or 5 way fight.
Oh, Luna versus FW हो गया.
Where these fights are taking place, tracking the kill feed as well. Now pulling up
Vinny down
the first one to fall on approach, but I mean we've seen a lot of times team come out victorious in games having played off of this compound, especially when circles keep going this direction. So it makes sense that Luna, seeing a player from TD team get eliminated, up to engage issue is, has not gone quite as smoothly as they would have hoped for.
Of all things, that FW E-pickup into the middle of the open on this center zone position is actually paying off nicely for them, as Luna Galaxy is now going to take over into this compound and see if they can ferret out what's left of TDT, as Poso's going to have to reposition after healing up and going through the smoke. You see Daytrade wrapping around it as well, but Posa super low. Balmond shot away. Can he get him with the well-placed grenade? Posa not gonna actually will run away from the vehicle at least, and that'll keep him alive.
I really like this reaction play from Daytrade, and this is what we've been seeing more and more of them in the past tournament, is that they're really smart and very swift on their reactions. They read down the hill, now they go over the top. Issue for them is Circle has swung south, and Falcons, well, you're sat dead center, but I feel like you got to group up somewhere.
Yeah, they might want to look at
top teams, guys.
Curious about that truck stop.
17 or Twisted.
Theraton 5, 4 a.m. TSM.
TSM
Curious about that truck stop situation.
TSM की fight होगी फिर.
Difficult move. We'll see how they decide to play it. FW still in the open, still working around these hills. Will reposition just a little bit as, unfortunately, TDT and Luna not as free as they once were now that they've made it into the hard cover, and you've got Day Trade with a little bit of high ground just off to the east, so they have to be a little bit more careful.
And this kind of goes straight back into what I was saying before with how the layer, like how the terrain plays around here. You have a belt going from 17 all the way over to Day Trade, effectively following that east to west road. Any team that is currently north of that having to go south, they're going to have to scout while driving downhill towards compounds. I mean, it's so incredible.
Okay, 4 AM निकल रहे T5 के बीच में से. Fluky versus Bobo.
These teams in the north now trying to figure out what do we do from here. Great, we know we're not going to be the
Okay,
only
Pedapalm के पास अच्छा इंजन है.
They're waiting for us. You can see it right here, Day Trade and T1. So how do we play this? Great, we got to take the fights outside the circle. That's what's happening to 4AM, T5, and TSM right now. They want to clear the edges and play it in slow.
Yeah, Day Trade not liking that position in the new zone on the northeast, so instead they wrap over to the east, but I don't know if they know that they've got two snakes in their midst. Serpents by the name of Type and EN.
Okay, पता चल गया.
Type's gonna find
Nurins.
looks around to see if he can get another
one. Finish भी कर दिया Type ने.
As now Day Trade is
okay, Flash.
As swift as you can be, knock, flush, reposition. Tries to reposition, but he's been caught.
Gotta go.
Oh, Flash.
Over it. Yeah, Type will go down. As we see End still off in the distance, as he looks like he's just going to run away off to the north, try to survive a little bit longer for T1. So that's good news for Day Trade, although they do lose Nurins. They now have control over the east.
Yep, tricky position, as we saw E-Pickup used by Twisted Minds in the hot northwestern side. Lou went up, but jumped back down, and now here comes 4AM. They tried to go east, but they got denied by T5. Here we see Day Trade finally eliminated. As well, yet another brutal game for them, 15th into 16th for the Korean team.
Ouch. Yeah, that's good eyes on Day Trade, though, to be able to get, or he was able to escape and survive. But yeah, as you mentioned, 4AM.
4AM versus TSM, ऊपर T5 बैठी है.
Theraton 5, so it's
well, that will be hard.
North side of truck stop, which TSM has been fully occupying. Meanwhile, Luna Galaxy
cracking का need.
Back over towards TDT now that they don't have Day Trade shooting them in the back. They can put their full focus on clearing out these last two, and they will do so. 2 kills now for Luna Galaxy at the cost of Posa.
Important fight.
Oh, perfect X ने down की 4AM पे HSM को.
As you were saying,
wait, what? कहाँ से?
Circle now.
Oh boy!
Towards the west, I think many teams thought this one was gonna go somewhat north, maybe even north.
17 चटकाई भाई.
Swing out west is gonna
17 बहुत मारी कोई इसमें. 17 गई top पे.
But again, we come to this ridge line going uphill towards the north. How do you play from here? How do you get in here now?
यार TSM गलत पोजीशन में फंसी है. यार TSM तो अच्छे नहीं जा रहा.
Teams are gonna be violent.
Like last day अच्छा नहीं जा रहा
TSM. It's
TSM.
gonna be one big bloodbath.
Elon down किया Zipian को.
Just kind of
finish भी कर दिया. But TSM नहीं निकल पाई है.
I know Matrim is pumping his fist in the air right now.
पता चल गया ना Christian ने TSM.
The truck stop. He's wanted this thing to pop off. Unfortunately, the circle won't go there, but at least you're going to get to see a 3-way scrap as Wang Zai will go down to the blue. 4AM taking a lot of blue damage here, and they're just having to struggle making their way from building to building as TSM has just been gatekeeping.
With how the leaderboard is currently set up, I feel like once TSM realizes that it's Twisted that are set on their side, they take the fight to 4AM and might just deny points in phase 4. I mean, it's
sparking
they cannot give 4 points over.
Unexpected.
I think now is when you take the fight to 4AM, get points, and just, how do you get out of here without giving points to Twisted Minds?
I don't know if it's possible. I mean, Twisted Minds.
ये तो unexpected है भाई. Party तो गंदा हुआ है.
Try to take some shots.
फेज आके बचा ले कम से कम. यार मार रहे थे TSM वालों को भी मजा आए थोड़ा वो. पर तो एक तरफा टूर्नामेंट हो जाएगा यार. एक तरफा मत करवाओ भाई.
In case somebody does decide to third party, and now 17 is leaving their compound.
Oh, यार perfect X का name.
Careful. They have to have heads on swivels right now to watch their backs.
फेज आ नहीं रही है बिल्कुल मारने.
Intention of them fighting, it stalled out for a bit, but now they're here once again. It's the top 3 teams on the northwestern side of the circle. This could get ugly very, very quickly. Is able to find one more. Purdy down and out. TSM down to 2, but 17 is coming right up.
Oh, short there.
They started taking shots.
Sparking by OP.
Trying to make
OP by yellow का नेट सेक्सी. मारो बढ़िया. ये अच्छा था. अरे T5 वाले नहीं मत छेड़ना प्लीज. अरे बोबो भाई TSM हो गेम बराबर गया वो
TSM will go down as well as Twisted Mind's example is going to go down. Lou now the last remaining.
Lou last one standing.
Is pushing in. Theraton 5 is pushing.
यार वो भाई मजा आने दो यार टूर्नामेंट में यार. चल 17 तो आई कम से कम 17 अच्छा गेम. 17 आ गई. 17 आ गई. लू आ गया. किल नहीं मिली शाहू को.
Match now coming in for all these teams on the hunt first and
भाई चढ़ना पड़ेगा. न्यू एपी सर्वर्स 70 ये मौका है भाई. घेर लो भाई. मजा एंड तक बदल चाहिए. लास्ट गेम टिप टू द टिप. ओ भाई फेज बढ़िया यार. फेज कितनी किल लेगी? 5 किल. हैं? ओ और ये फेज चिकन निकाल दो. फेज भी तो कंटेंडर है भाई.
But now we'll wait and see where the next zone decides to take us. With 34 alive, we'll set
भाई ये तो फंस गया गेम.
6 players inside the next circle. Goes to show.
वो यार ये तो गलत शॉट था वो. Bobo heal, Bobo.
He's going to try and make their way in Bobo. Try to see if he can steal one there. Not quite meant to be, as he's going to go straight back to healing. Space 5 does hurt quite a bit, and he's a solo player trying to get to some sort of points for him and his team. I like the idea of 17 going over, showing presence, not wanting to fully commit, because they knew TSM was down and out. They knew Twisted was wounded, so yes, we want to get the points if you can, but you don't throw a game now when you know that you have a perfect opportunity to catch up. If you
oh, my shot, yaar.
Absolutely, and they left
it's
rich in the compound that they had sitting left, so they know exactly what
okay.
to expect on the
okay, phase वालों को तो फ्री में वो बट रही है.
Hands on deck for the win, I think at this point.
भाई phase वालों को तो फ्री में वो बट रही है. मतलब बिरयानी जाओ बटोल लो.
We are down to 30. Chalvet still taking shots from range, but not finding.
7 kills phase के 4th आगे भाई phase क्या पैर के लिए phase संडे क्या आज. देख लिटरली अगर आज phase संडे हो ना भाई मैं तो पागल हो जाऊंगा भाई. इस भाई मैं इस टीम की हालत में
very aggressive, but they have to start kind of considering what they're going to do next.
And that's the thing, right? They get the points on their side of the circle, but now they have a rotation to make them look down towards stage shape, but they're sat real tight in their position, and now thinking.
भागा, शाहू भागा, कह रहा आ गया. जीम्स नाम का बंदा आ रहा होगा, छील देता क्लोज रेंज में. ये जीम्स दिख रहा है ना नीचे. ओ भाई वेल बहुत अच्छा. वेल 7 kills हो गए ना डेट के भी अच्छा खेल रहा है. ओ फैल्कन्स की एंट्री.
As they try to get inside the circle, but
Falcons
already made the aggressive play up the hillside out of the compound and to try and cut them out.
Yeah, I like this from Falcons. They had the compound that was just on the outskirts of that eastern side of the zone. Instead of trying to send it.
Oh, sneakers के पास ओम है, but helmet तो नहीं.
Might have thought they might do. They instead clean up on this northern side. They have a lot of hills to work.
एक फ्री के लिए आ रही है फैक्स कुरेक्सी तुम्हारे पीछे. देख लो अगर मिल जाए तो. Detroit की.
P90. They've got an arm. They've got everything they could want to go hunting right now.
Yep, they are in a very good position, but don't.
Okay, Falcons versus FaZe. EMEA versus Americas हो रहा है.
I like the fact they're playing aggressive. It's something.
Europe versus America हो रहा है guys.
But there's a time for everything. You don't want to continue the sprint up the hillside. You know FaZe is there, and yes, you might have the better weaponry, but that's an open hillside. Yet you don't want to come sprinting around the corner.
By KDF starting the mark
with players ready and waiting. So nice on Falcons to say we got what we wanted. We made space for ourselves. We have a spot in the circle. We got 3 people with level 3 helmets on. Let's sit here. Let's see the next circle and see what we can do from there.
All the things that Falcon have.
भाई न्यू एपी भी अच्छी पोजीशन पे है. नहीं अच्छी नहीं. जोर कटेगा पीए पे जाएंगे नहीं. अच्छी पोजीशन KDF की है. ओके चढ़ गए फेज वाले. ओ गुस्ताव. और शॉट है स्नीकर्स यार. ओ बेलमोथ ने किल चुरा लिया. रॉथ को फिनिश कर दिया बेलमोथ ने.
Couldn't be any worse for the teams in the hard northeastern side. Spellmouth does get found in the end of it. That's stage trade down and out. Sneakers.
Oh, Sneakers 1 HP. 1 HP भाई. कहाँ से पड़ रही थी कीड़ी वन मार भाई. भाई साहब मैं बहुत दिनों बाद इतना हाई हेवी हिटर गेम देख रहा हूँ.
Is it worthwhile to fight further east? And I think they're saying no. We got to go over there. We know 17 was sat alone. We got to take him out. We got to take the fight to them.
I don't know who
17 का गेम है ये तो. 17 गेम है. It will be a pure 17 game. Easy win.
Just a leash on the pit bull. The pit bull is wanting to go off to the north and start.
Genji, FaZe और Falcons एक साथ उनके बहुत पकड़ हो गई.
Falcons fight. They want to get involved, but the one with the leash is saying, "No, guys, look, we are in the chase. Our 2 competitors are out. We have the northern side. We have a win here if we want it. Let's get the points that come to us instead of going and chasing."
Exactly. The 10-point win. You know they'll take that with no kills if that's what it's going to take for them to catch up to Twisted's Mind. Currently sat 16 points ahead of them.
फेज डन है भाई, फेज गिर गई, फेज जनरली। और फेल्कन्स डिसाइडेड टू गो इसकी पहन कर दे घुसे थे। ओके रेलो को ताड़ दिया मिंग, नाइस शॉट, फ्लड भी डाउन और फेल्कन्स आउट और जीव्स और
Goodness, the exploding vehicle is going to find
Hemas need molly कुछ तो होगा।
We remember all that gear that Falcons was sitting on. That might set them up for the late game here, but Cerberus not giving up an inch to
They would criticize Quantum Freaks for not being aggressive enough. We'll see if that's going to change here as they get a perfect opportunity to try and third party this fight on the southern side. We already saw
फेज को बाहर कर दिया 17 के द्वारा।
fall right there after trying to make the wrap on the western side for the teams that were out.
यार मैं चाहता हूँ फेज जीते कोई टूर्नामेंट यार।
Face wrapping north, there was simply nowhere for them to go.
Just a brutal end game circle here, and Gen G finding themselves in the late game once again. It's going to be Tosi and Rex this time. The duo will get a couple of kills and a couple.
और देखा स्पॉट हुआ, जाएगा ऐसा कि भाई सर्वर्स वाले मिस नहीं करते भाई।
Dispatch of New Happy. They have 2 knocked right now, and yet Xiaozad going to go down to the blue as well. It looks like
और जनरेटर Rex मारे गए।
Rex is going to get spouted out by Xiaobei, and now 17. The pit bulls off the leash. They're letting them go ahead and wrap around the edges and clean up everything.
Okay.
Salute will be the one that cleans up New Happy.
117 realized Gen G is down and out. I think that's right now what's causing them to play slower. They didn't
ले
know
भाई KDF क्या हुआ, कहाँ से छूट गए वीडियो की तरह।
position to suppress everyone down below. Xiao Wu finds himself on a bit of an island out towards the western side. They're in a 3-1 split on the top of the hill.
सर्वर्स कितना स्लो खेल रही है भाई, सर्वर्स आराम से चिकन निकल सकती हैं।
Opens up an avenue for Cerberus to wrap around the west-hand side as well. 17 needs to somehow regain control of this fight, and right now it's happening because they're getting the help from Cerberus towards the south.
Actually, really like this from 17 to make sure.
Oh, Cerberus का game
here with that southern shift. It was, you know, you kind of figure Cerberus is in the worst position out of all 3 teams, and that's why 17 was going to focus all their attention on KDF, try to get rid of the Freaks, and then turn their attention towards Cerberus while leaving Xiao Wu to keep an eye over them, making sure that they don't leave the spot that they're in. Now that the circle has favored Cerberus, that just kind of puts an exclamation point on this push on the Freaks to make sure that they can clean it up as quickly as they can.
33, 33, 33. This game is trying to tell us that this is as tight as can be. All players with 4 alive. Neither of these teams have had to really fight a whole lot in the open to get here, so helmets and vests should be all right for the most part. Issue for Freaks is they committed to this.
Okay, Xiao Wu ये क्या risk है?
Practically no ammo, whereas Cerberus
Hemas के shot connect नहीं हो रहे?
rotate around, loot up on the opponents they've taken out for a little while longer. So their ammo count, maybe their util count should be better. The issue is for all these teams now, they have to come down this hill. They have to somehow take this fight to Cerberus. And I think if you're 17, you say, we don't want to deal with Cerberus right now. Let's just get the points of Freaks and see what we can do from there.
Both 17 and Cerberus both desperately need this win.
Oh yeah.
To try to make that run.
भाई 17 का chicken 17 टॉप पे डन है, Xiao Wu डन है। Xiao Wu बच गया सोलोजी ने हेडशॉट्स मिस किए हैं।
And survive a little bit longer.
So close, but Saloti, one more bullet.
Okay, 17 versus KDF हो रहा है guys. It has to be happen.
Cerberus can't do anything to interfere. They want to get it clean, but the circle is closing in. It's denying 17 any chance to make the play on forward. I love the util usage here by Freaks. Love a couple of flashbangs over to suppress, to force them back, to force them into the open arms of Cerberus. And then, while Cerberus is occupied shooting at 17, maybe you can try and make a play for the south.
I mean, Cerberus has everything.
अगर भाई यहाँ से 17 निकली ना भाई, फिर तो मैं इनको चैंपियन मारूंगा। अरे सूज ने भी नहीं डाउन किया, पर सूज डाउन क्यों नहीं करा? और Xiao Wu ने सैल्यूट डाउन किया, पर Xiao Wu भी नॉक हो गए। लिल गोस का नेड, और Xiao Wu ने सोलोजी कर दिया।
Xiaobei at least will get the knock on the Solozi, and
17
be enough to open up some spot here for him to make his way in. You see Haisaki desperately coming over here. Highmass actually coming over here to make sure that he can't catch it. And yeah, there you go.
और भाई Xiaobei Haisaki को भी ले गया.
And now Cerberus in a good position to come in, but they've got 2 knocked. Freaks pulling something out of nothing here. Can they do
heaven
something?
Definitely have to. Again,
Cerberus आगे भाई top 3 में.
While Freaks, while Cerberus were looking towards 17.
भाई मेरे को TSM का गेम चाहिए भाई, 20 किल करने वाला. सीधे 30 पॉइंट उठा के
right now he's looking to take the fight to heaven, but has he lost track of Human down below? Nope, because Duckmai's right there to spot him.
Some good shots from Duckmai, but he's got to get on the move instantly, and This actually, yeah, you got both of these guys lined up on the rock. Let's go.
बस 13 किल है, बस 13 है वो human पे.
Job is for him to stay alive as long
done.
as possible, or just kill the man. Why not? Take it into your hands, Himas. You've got this. The smoke wall keeping him alive for a little bit longer. It looks like he may have lost track of Human, but Human just gonna slide down.
Oh, Human ने खुद को माली कर ली. सर्वरस का अच्छे गेंडर भाई, सर्वस टॉप 3 में आ गई. चलो भाई PMGC चलते हैं, वहाँ क्या चल रहा है?
I mean, it shows you that those ridges
Okay.
feel like they can play.
That's what
I was saying. I feel like it's one of the strongest right now in the circle. This fight needs to conclude. Alter Ego, okay, they try and go for it, but TJB so ready, so ready for it. They're up to 5.
Phase 6 kills.
The entire time.
4 alive. Good game. Insane.
On the door of Dongji Bao's free story, like, let me in.
IHC game.
They just cannot find anything. I feel so sorry for them there. And they don't break up from 12th place.
Oh, TJ4 है भाई, interplace पे near तो अच्छा था.
Vengeance still ahead of them with 98 points here, and Tongji Bao now looking to work the problem forward.
अरे भाई.
Players alive, 5 elims.
पूरा कूद गया भाई. कूद गया. अरे भाई, तगड़ा भाई 1v2 मारा
Mormon. Not have a choice. Mormon.
क्या प्यारा 1v2
sets
भाई.
them back a pace or two as he sends around the corner with a DBS. 5 eliminations for FaZe, and they are making a bid for the survival stages as well. These breakouts from Incilio, from FaZe on this northeast side, they might do enough here to make themselves safe.
Oh, NGX के Rauf spotted there.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there are some teams that came into today with a renewed sense of will, and they've been able to get much further forward. Some of our other teams just have felt like the game's already over for them, which is a sad thing to see. They have found their mojo. They're looking to push this one further. 8 with all 4 players up.
G-Bond
pocket for them.
नेड़ा है, फटेगा, नहीं फटा. Oh, G-Bond ने finish कर दिया.
Threat from the sidelines of Enigma Galaxy, and you afford them a lot of freedom here.
पहले के nation down हुए.
Tiamba out of the mix this early, but Tiamba have to move. So do
मेला की तरफ से.
the fight there forward.
मेला लूटते हुए.
Bond looking for the res, trying to play on us too. The smoke's going to clear soon, and that's going to be when Incilio can open the cannons. A dangerous approach from that southeast side. The riverbank for Enigma Galaxy is still in. IHC hold the ridgeline.
Okay.
The Falcons' position now getting overwhelmed by FaZe from the northeast.
FaZe pushing in now. They did lose a player, but were able to get that knock back up again. Fash looks down, finds Bond. That's 2 players from Incilio looking to put up some more points here. 3 eliminations found for Tiamba and a 6th place position. They are still a little bit ahead, but 5 points here.
They don't have Falcon Nishi's.
This game, and Enigma Galaxy have just been living
Oh, गाड़ी चढ़ा दी भाई ने.
of that embankment. But a quick roll.
Oh, Falcon के पास अच्छा spot है.
10 elims now for FaZe. Fantastic.
10 kills भाई, 10 eliminations.
Catching up right now, John.
They are really pushing the boundaries now, as Enigma Galaxy have weathered the worst of it, but the team sat ahead of them will not make it easy either.
Enigma Galaxy guys फिर से अपना दिखाती हुई क्यों अच्छी टीम है.
Over this circle, they've got
Oh!
to look down towards
Oh,
the rest of the
godless.
circle on.
Nice
They've
spot,
got
yeah.
off angles to stay protected from different flanks. It's looking pretty good for them. Can they convert? Can they capitalize and keep this gravy train rolling as IHC get pushed on these long slopes, these open grounds, which make it so hard to move?
IHC on their triple stack on this western side, a team that has been down in the dumps for a long time and now looking to crawl out of squalor.
INS done है भाई, phase खत्म कर देगा INS को.
But it's FaZe who is just rocking
बस kill ना दे दें over
here, and everyone's
और
feeling
अच्छा,
seasick down
बहुत ही
towards
प्यारा
the
भाई.
side.
INS done 12 kills.
FaZe
on god mode
a
यार.
little bit longer, will secure themselves at least a 3rd place, staying out of the way down towards the southern side of the lobby. Now FaZe versus Enigma Galaxy and IHC.
I mean, this is the ridgeline I was talking about. It's so strong. It allows you to isolate peaks to various different angles, and FaZe have been playing off of it, taking it away from the Falcons, who could really utilize it.
IHC फंस गई यार.
With IHC trapped on their plateau,
IHC फंस
they're
गई
going to
यार.
have to make a little bit of a dash here. They've got 1 player further up, that's Yol, who might be able to find some shots over towards FaZe, but it's really looking pretty dire for IHC in this scenario. Only 2 eliminations into the top 3, and remember, these guys need some big matches.
आगे position है, FaZe खेल सकते हैं आगे.
This one through. More
एक और बंदा जाएगा अभी FaZe का.
a little bit exposed to Enigma Galaxy potentially, who are, remember,
मेला भी जा रहा है.
circle as well.
No, they're maintaining presence. They do have the next circle as well, like you said, which is a really big deal because they're still able to play off the back of that embankment. The question is, how do they really escape from this position? They would need to rely on the circle heading down towards the south side.
Position मिल गई फेस
cases we're heading into zone 9 next.
Enigma Galaxy बस वो upper range नहीं है तो most मुश्किल रहेगा.
That position earlier. They need to get a couple of knocks. I think the best thing for Enigma Galaxy to do right now is wait for this fight to break out between IHC and FaZe. Then they need to make a quick wrap over towards the eastern side.
Oh, IHC versus FaZe हो गया.
The time to go for it as FaZe.
Knock दे दिया है. Oh, double knock हो सकता है.
Go Onsen spray down with the Bison's Yols
down as well. Zone और नीड आया. क्या प्यारा नीड आया बे.
There's damage done to Ventores and a lot of damage done to Onsen's. An opening for Enigma Galaxy.
Okay, Rauf का नीड. Rauf नीड हो. Fake नीड लेट हो जाएगा. Late हो गया. Rauf बहुत late हो गया.
IHC are not out just yet. They didn't manage to confirm. Rogue is still there.
Oh, Rauf को finish मिल गया. Molly है.
FaZe continue to put pressure onto this lobby with a big elimination game.
मेरे को लग रहा है IHC डन है.
In the final moments here, Mela tries
Molly डाल दे.
Norman. But Rogue is just slipping through the cracks time and time again.
14 kills भाई.
They're down to 2.
This is a lifeline of a game for FaZe.
भाई
this one to keep themselves alive.
और NGX के स्नो को भी डाउन किया और फिनिश वही कर देंगे.
For the team here.
15 kills.
They are picking up every single elimination they can find.
और ये शॉट है यार रोग.
Points on this match.
और रोग को कंप्लीट किया. और चिकन डिनर
is them down. FaZe bring themselves back into the light of the
17 kills I think
on our angle.
What a stand up from FaZe. They were third partying, they were playing on the outside, harrying.
17 kill chicken अरे भाई. I think that's a 17 kill chicken भाई. OP वाले FaZe.
Pumping for
OP at 2 OP.
The lifeblood flowing through them once more, Blank. That is fantastic for them to close it down in such a strong fashion. Let's head back to the desk.
It's okay,
last time we saw you dance, do the flop.
Is that FaZe cool? You got
Cerberus 19 points, yeah.
Trade as well.
So did 17 games.
New Happy got themselves 5.
Gen G with 5. I mean, what do you? It's just constant over on this side, with the exception of this time, Twisted TSM being over on the right side. But they even got 3 as they've been neck and neck with each other the whole time.
Yeah, TSM, if they want to really get it going, needs to put their foot. I was about to say put their foot to the pedal quickly, but I mean, look.
Okay, guys, let's have a break of 5 minutes. We will come back with the next team.
To scramble here for the championship.
Here's the thing though, with the TSM,
I will show you the screens.
Miramar has been better for them, and Erangel has been better for Twisted Minds. And where Miramar didn't seem to go super great for TSM, Twisted is at least still in first place as they're going to be moving into a much more comfortable map series.
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking stock of everything.
There's
a lot of numbers to look at, so give me a second whilst I figure out what I would like to talk about, you know?
Just, it's important. We're moving into the later stages so that everybody kind of get an idea.
I do think there was a world where I'd kind of written off Guangdong Freaks after seeing, again, Salute just die so many times early. It was 3 games early and then getting into the late game and not being able to convert things. But 77 points after these 2 games, it's not terrible. They could actually launch up towards some of those higher PGS point locations.
And that is good. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them to really move up a ton with the way we've been seeing this. If anything, it might be just them stepping up into Gen G's territory, which on a regional level just makes everything a bit more complicated, and I don't know all the math on that one. We'll have to look at that one before going in. And then, I mean, but then it's FaZe who's just been hyper consistent so far as well. So it's almost like you have to be praying, if you're somebody like the Freaks or Gen G, for a complete collapse of 3 to 4 squads ahead of you that have just been so damn consistent this event.
Very consistent now, especially with how everything's shaping up here in the final day. And I think that it's nice, at least for some of these teams towards the top, to see that Twisted Minds only got themselves 3 points on the board. There was a world where I was scared that for 2 Miramars, they could have potentially run away with it here. The circle's not been too kind to Power Grid, especially this one where they're having to come all the way from that west side. But I'm getting word now that we can go to a break, and when we return, we will have our wild card maps on the way. So right after this, we have Rondo and Tego coming up here for PGS 6 to figure out who's going to be our champion. See you soon.
a new vehicle, a new arcade mode, and a new crafter pass. All this and more as we dive into the update 32.2 patch report. First up, the black market is back, bringing another opportunity to collect some fan-favorite progressive weapon skins and new chromas for the Mark 12, the Barrel M762, the Ace 32, and the M24. When you pick up the Crafter Pass Black Market 2024, you'll be able to complete missions and collect rewards which you can use for crafting in the workshop. Check out the upcoming Black Market announcement for all the details. Next up, Arcade is getting a new mode. In Hot Drop mode, you'll drop into a very small area and have to fight to survive as the circle closes in. With 64 max players, things will get cramped in the circle very quickly. So loot as fast as you can and start fighting for ground as the chaos ensues around you. Hot Drop mode will be available from November 20th until December 3rd. We've also got a brand new vehicle floating your way. The new inflatable boat is a more stealthy option when navigating the waters of the battlegrounds, using good old-fashioned teamwork to move. The inflatable boat can seat up to 4 players and moves faster as more players row, so make sure to put your back into it. There are also some updates to the clan system, map bug fixes, quality of life updates, and more. So check out the patch notes for full details. Update 32.2 is here. Pick up your Crafter Pass, hot drop into the new arcade mode, and row, row, row your boat gently with your team. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
PG's 5 champions, Twisted Minds!
Welcome back, everyone, and we are done with Miramar for the day. And so far, Twisted Minds has held strong to their top spot position, but the footsteps behind them are growing ever louder, Toby. Can they continue to hold on through the wild card match?
I mean, you say that they held on.
I don't know. I mean, it's getting pretty scary. They're showing that they're not immortal. They're not immortal. They're letting other people join the party to make it more exciting for the final games to come, no doubt.
Base Twisted Minds, making sure that everybody's entertained for the final day and not just running away with the thing. Well, we call them the wild card maps because, you know, Taego and Rondo, very relatively new, although at this point of the year, Taego pretty much old hat. You got to think by this point. Rondo, though, still a little bit crazy. But there's one team, Toby, that these maps have not really been a wild card for. And in fact, they have found the most success in these grand finals, and that is one TSM, a first place with 19 kills, 2 second places, and a 4th place. They have found consistency where no one else has been able to find it.
As some might say over across the seas, hoorah for those Americans.
Hoorah for them.
Solid performances, and that's despite the fact that we have had back-to-back days of Rondo over towards the hard northeast in areas that we've barely ever seen before. So let alone the fact they're able to come out victorious in both those games, not victorious, but with good performances in both those games, that says a lot, because having to tread those unknown waters towards the east, the northeast, it's not something we've seen too often before. But first, it's gonna be Taego on our screens. You'll get there in just about 20 seconds time. How do I know? he's just a random prediction. About 17 seconds.
So smart. Yeah. So knowledgeable, so talented. He's got his crystal ball out here. And I can tell you there's about 8 seconds left to go. I can also tell you that Luna Galaxy's got a lot of work to do if they want to try to get a little bit higher in that leaderboard. But I can also tell you that we are ready to head down into Taego.
Taego is where we're going. And once again, for 3rd game in a row, we're sending players off up towards the north. The last couple of days has been very fair playing paths all across the board, but even now for FaZe that wants to go down Book Sansa, that's going to be a stretch, an area of the map that usually is well within reach across all playing paths. But no, we're going hard north, which doesn't necessarily mean, but could very well mean that we also headed up towards the northern island for this game.
See if it plays out that way. There has been a lot of action taking place around that river that bisects that northern island from the mainland. And some teams have fared better than others in dealing with traversing that spot. Yeah, we haven't gotten to see the new shipyard bridge come into play just yet, but depending on where this circle lands, we just might, especially when you see how many teams are really hugging that eastern edge as far as their drop spots go.
I mean, I would say no, but considering the fact that T5 are over there, that's a good chance that the circles go over there as well.
That's true. They've had magnets in their pockets, it feels like.
At least in the early game. We'll see if that's going to come to fruition or not, as everyone gets their way down towards the ground. Again, as we can see here, hard to reach the south. I mean, 4 a.m. not forced to alter their drop spots, but there are only so many vehicles on the road that leads alongside the river, so there might be fights for cars between some of these teams. And for FaZe as well, you can see already Corexi in a car, they want to go further south. But if we see instantly now, just about now, a circle, which we want, I was going to say then would make things spicy, but why not go back to where we've been oh so many times before, towards that ridgeline, towards that hill north of Canyon.
Maybe we'll get lucky and keep cutting east and give us a little taste of the airport. Who knows?
Yeah, we almost had it yesterday, but not quite meant to be. TSM were able to get themselves a 19-kill win. That was on day 1 in this exact area of the map. And look at where they are right now, set on the small island west of Falcons in Paradise. If they want to get themselves a 19-kill win here, they have a long journey ahead of them.
I love how we were watching him on the motorcycle, cut away for 2 seconds, come back, and we see him crawling around. But this is what I was talking about. Luna and FaZe going for the same spot, but I don't think either one has had time to stop and get. I was watching him on. We're both heading here. I'm glad we were actually, well, now that we switched. But them and Luna, we're both heading.
Yes, he is. If only Vinny knew. There were 2 guys with no guns in hand, proning in a field. Easy pickings if you're driving around in a car, but not quite meant to. James and Gustav on a bike each. Stay alive, at least initially.
Oh, Kraken's got the gun too. Oh, sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. True. And right there, FaZe gets very, very lucky. And keep Gustav and James
भाई क्या चल रहा है भाई स्पोर्ट्स पे लेट रहा पड़ा है भाई जीज बस फेज भी टूर्नामेंट जी सकती है भाई एक चिकन डिनर 10 kills 20 kills like 115 फेज ऑन टॉप
especially when they get circles going their way is
क्या
they
पता
like to spread out early, take control, but now they're going to be a minute and a half late in the rotation. But
oh T1 type
one shot, 2 knocks, nothing you can do about it.
भाई TSM का तो दिन ही नहीं यार
Coming in full type as TSM gets butchered on the bridge.
Unreal stuff there, and
TSM का दिन नहीं है भाई क्या गंदा मरी है TSM
T1 to just read that, know that was coming, and now 4AM going to find the two boys from Luna as well as Luna. Remember, they were getting a little bit that they were heading down to Buxton, saw FaZe, pulled off, and headed over here and run right into 4AM. So two teams from the Americas getting very, very unlucky to start things off here on Tego.
Equally lucky for 4AM here because they actually sat in a very wide 2-1-1 split, but it's the location that two of them.
Okay, table toppers.
That Luna up to pull up on.
Twisted Minds versus 17 Gaming.
And now we have here yet another fight, and it's between the first and third place team. Example, able to get that one. Will he?
Oh, no.
Yes, he will. Twisted Minds. They were getting pressured by 17 in the last game, but here they come right after doing that.
Oh, Lil Ghost. कैसे miss कर सकती हो shot?
17 down to 2, trying to get something in return. But this is once again the top teams fighting, and Cerberus just sitting back, going, "If you're just gonna give us first place, we'll gladly take it."
Yeah, and Lil Ghost will pull away, but Xiaobei is in the compound just off to the side. You just can't see it on your mini-map, but he's got company as well as Twisted Minds is in there. But we had a chance to sit down with Lil Ghost and ask him his thoughts going into this final day.
Welcome to the mid-game interview and the finals. Now we're having Ligos from 70 Gaming. So actually at PGS 5, you're just 5 points behind Twisted Minds, and now you're standing here again. Do you have the confidence to take the honor back in winning this PGS 6 champion? 所以在 PGS 5的时候，其实我们就差了 Twisted Minds 5分，非常可惜。那这一次又回到这里，有没有信心拿下冠军？
有信心，我们会把我们最后所有的精力都放在这4局游戏上，去争夺 PGS 6的冠军。
Yes, we totally have the confidence and we'll put all of our energy into the last 4 games and to win the championship. That's what I love to hear. Thank you very much, and back to the casters.
They have the confidence, but they're going to need more of it over what just happened there. Not the way you want to start this game if you're 17.
पिल गए उस गेम में अब कह रहे हैं कि कॉन्फिडेंस है 17 के 2 बंदे
losing players giving 2 points to the team already sat in first place. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly bloody early game here on Tego. Usually it's been pretty calm at least until Circle 2, but a lot of teams running into each other. Some planned, you have to imagine 4AM planning that camp onto TSM, and maybe 17 and Twisted Minds running into each other was more than just coincidence.
Yeah.
As they are so the remaining 2 from 17 will come back into Terminal, and they've now actually been joined by Cerberus. You can see Duckmai making his way in here. The rest of his team kind of off to the south and east. Duckmai just doing some last-minute looting.
And this is where things get interesting. We saw FaZe early on in this game lose Jeems. I'm not sure whether Jeems disconnected and is only coming back now, or if what happened is that he simply, again, had to get rest, had to wait a little while longer, but he is still down in Buksansa, and his remaining teammates are up nearby this current Cerberus split. So whether he's going to go up and join them or whether it's a wide split strat, again, we talked about FaZe liking to play a wide split early on here. Whether it's intentional or it's forced by some errors, we still can't quite tell. But one thing's for sure, if this fight ends up happening, it's going to be a good while before Jeems is able to join his team.
See, TDT has actually made their rotation. They're right in between Jeems and the rest of the team. See, I think that's Gustav just off on the fringe there, and yeah, they heard him as we see Lil Ghost and Xiaowu just hiding out in the compound. As this is just a duo from Cerberus. The other duo is still off to the east in a compound, just sitting nearby FaZe. So, I mean, shots coming through from Cerberus, but they're not being sent over towards 17.
17 के पीछे
Windows or something.
Cerberus आ गई चुपके
No clue they're here. Little Ghost is sat here waiting to hear footsteps, and 17 with how they're sat on the roof shooting all over the place. No indication that they are aware that there is still 7 players in the
bridge camp.
The Kwangdong Freaks, they're going to stay towards the east. We already saw one bridge camp. Why not see another?
Let's see if Gen G, who are currently sat on the western side of this exact bridge, read this one. If they realize, is that a team sat on the other side? It may just be.
I mean, this is a relatively free bridge camp if you're Freaks. I mean, it's inside the zone. Yeah. You've got Heaven down to the south that's been able to read that it's all free and clear down there. And you know what? Stick around, see what you can. Yeah. If you can maybe stick something away. And now it's really on to Gen G to have their eyes on.
Oh, here we see it.
We see.
And the beep and the he hits the second ridge. He hits the, you see, he lands on both wheels, but then it goes doink over the top of that one, so he can't reset. That's.
Oh, jeez, yaar, ye to ganda. Aur bhai ye Panzer.
Which you just, I mean, there's no counterplay whatsoever. You don't even have to hit the players, just hit the car, you take out 2 players. Unlucky.
Example with the jiggle peek around the Hyundai is trying to get slick with the doors, but it's not going to be enough. Example's too good for that.
Yep.
And Gen G actually making their way across this bridge now. So we'll see if Freaks is ready. This is our southernmost player, Heaven.
He's not ready.
He's not even a part
Okay, Gen G.
There you go.
Oh, Gen G nikal gayi.
Come through, it's gonna land, but Salute's gonna be the one that gets the knock on the Rex with the spray. Cuban will find the flush. Tosi in no man's land will try to reverse, try to send it back, and it looks like he may survive a little bit longer. And shots coming through from Adder on the other side of the river is gonna keep him alive.
Yeah, able to, surprisingly enough, keep 3 up after what was kind of a full commit push here down to 3 tires for Tosi, somehow able to get away. I mean, we saw T1 bridge camp, now a Freaks bridge camp into Gen G. I know we're in the Korean Peninsula, but this has Korean early game action written all over it.
Well, it sure does. Barpo is going to continue
Twisted Center
east as the circle does shift back down over towards Terminal. So 17, although they are down to a duo, they are a pretty decent spot. But Twisted Minds, that's who everybody's chasing. Everybody's got their eyes on. They are in a good spot as well. We'll see how Gen G decides to connect everybody. And if Freaks are going to even allow them to, it looks like they're just be dipping out of this.
I mean, the fact we have 3 of top 5 set circle center in this circle, that's going to make for a very interesting game unless if something wild happens that gets them taken out. Seems like Twisted is going to opt to try and maintain their 2-2 split for now. Makes sense. They're in a spot from where they should be able to fall back and fortify with one another. And as long as they can keep threats at a distance, they should have no real fears of taking fights here. Barpo seemingly is going for a boat. And the rest of Freaks are currently trying to hunt Gen G. Either that or they're going to wrap Western. You know what? This is an insane But to go back to Freaks, this is a really nice read. They go over the shipyard bridge. They're going to go all the way through Yongchun, come down the western side and have all the room in the world to maneuver. I love this rotation. How to avoid confrontation. They know they're coming in on the heavy side. If you have the space to make that play, that is an incredibly smart wrap by them.
Yeah, and they avoid having to cross the smaller river, which is usually getting camped as well. So
also, where would they play from? Like, there's nothing for them to claim.
And as a result, I mean, they've got all the space in the world on the northwest side of this new zone. So
yeah,
it's 5-head stuff coming out for Kwangdong Freaks.
Very smart.
As we'll see where they decide to go day trade. Meanwhile, after picking off Jeems, are kind of hanging out on the south side, waiting for the inevitable push here of these southern teams. Vinny will breeze by and not even know how close he came.
But that's the issue, right? Because they have this much space. Why? Well, because there are 3 teams trying to do effectively what Freaks did in the north down towards the south, but they're doing it at the same time. Lunar Galaxy, obviously, down to just a duo. Poser is kind of left behind. But T1, FW, and Day Trade all sort of intertwined with one another to make their way through. The good thing is, I suppose, none of them are getting out of their cars, all committing to fulfilling their rotations. So not seeing too much commotion, but it could have very easily gone very bad for all these teams towards the south.
You see all the presents, all the little toys New Happy has, and they have a e-pickup in the trunk as well, just in case. Although they are inside the zone, they are still kind of off to the northeast.
E-pickup,
under the ridgeline of Falcons. So they've got a lot of space to work around here, although they do have Theraton 5 still off to the north. We'll see how they decide to come in as we see those aforementioned Freaks making their way into the zone, and they've just got nothing but room. And a free path into Terminal too if they want to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously they're coming in very late with not having had any chance to scout, so they're for good reason going to play it a bit slow. But yeah, I mean, as you're saying, once they realize it's free for the taking, they should at least send 1, maybe even 2 players down there, of course, depending on where this next circle is going to take us.
54 alive, but 16 teams still up as Purdy Curdy is still surviving for TSM. Not gone down just yet.
The fact that we have top 7 still in the race. Usually the cutoff sits like there's a gap down from 3rd or from 4th, 5th down towards teams below. But top 7 with a win here could find themselves within winning distance. That's, I mean, completely insane. Goes to show the depth that we have at the global stage of PUBG. Let's see now, as this circle pops, who are we going to favor?
Okay, terminal, city zone. Maza jayegi. Maza jayegi. City zone.
You see the double E pickup. New Happy had one laid down. Gen G took one up from Shipyard. And it looks like the way New Happy's positioning, it looks like they're going to take theirs as well. So we'll see where Gen G decides to drop. It looks like they're going to send it right towards
phase ka ja rahi hai.
and hope that they can maybe avoid line of sight from anybody around. And fortunately for them, it's just 17 down there, and I don't think
phase bhi ja rahi hai terminal mein.
Not yet.
Okay, 17 pe land kare Gen G Tosi.
And Tosi, hopefully you got your eyes.
Aur Tosi knocked by Little Ghost.
Instantly dispatches with him.
Nice reaction play by 17, realizing threats are coming from around the corner. Once he saw him in the window outside, he knows there's a brief landing animation, a brief roll from which he would have the advantage and take the fight. So great reaction play by Little Ghost there.
New Happy doing the exact same thing, and they are e-pickup.
Bhai terminal mein basad.
4 a.m.
UMP versus service phase bhi hai.
Coming in as well, so Terminal getting a lot of love here on, especially on the eastern side of Terminal. The western side completely clear right now. It is just building to building action as Twisted Mind.
Bhai Little Ghost ne 4M ke Zypian ko wo kiya hai.
With the Panzerfaust.
But kitni team aa gayi hain?
And it is just madness right here. There's no way we're going to be able to keep track of all of this.
6 teams fighting for
6 team bhai, 6 team. और यहाँ पे 17 वाले 4M को छील रहे हैं. और यहाँ पे Little Ghost down.
Stay afloat. Little Ghost will be found, but Xiao Wu is still alive, trying to clear out the remaining player.
ओ मारा भाई. Xiao Wu ने मारा.
My goodness. Okay. 17 still got one alive. Adder and Barpo still up for Gen G. As they're working around. They're avoiding this Cerberus 4 New Happy stuff. Good nade from Adder will finish out Xiao Wu. And Gen G will stay alive a little bit longer. And they have an escape route should they decide to take it. As they
are Twisted Minds easily चढ़ेगी भाई, आराम से चढ़ेगी भाई Twisted Minds.
Just off to their south.
TSM वालों की किस्मत खराब है भाई.
Coming to claim all of this earlier was Quantum Freaks, and they're still chilling up in the north again. I mean, they came in so late with no chance to really scout forward, and you know how these buildings can oftentimes have snakes set around, so they didn't want any piece of it. And right now, I mean, if this circle swings northwest, they're set really well. Obviously, the water is going to be excluded, so it's not going to go full northwest, but anywhere west is going to be amazing for Freaks.
We already had all these people in here. Why not add one more? TDT has arrived as well. Now they are on the western clump of Terminal, so not directly involved in this fight. And it looks like things may have calmed down a little bit here as every team that's in here has managed to find their own little alcove to work around.
But now we come to the inevitable city question. Yes, you got in here. But if the circle swings away, how in the world are you planning on leaving Terminal? Especially for New Happy, obviously set dead center, it's most likely not going to happen at all. So it's the teams outside right now that are hoping the circle can can see themselves rewarded with a shift down towards
भाई यहाँ पे phase बैठी थी, यहाँ पे day trade है यार.
What is Theraton 5 gonna do?
Okay, T1 crashing. T1 crashing. T1 day trade में crash मार रहे हैं.
High ground that they can work around.
T1 pull up on this?
It looks like Quantum Freaks might be interested in wrapping around down towards the south, but yeah, you're looking at T1 pulling right up on the backside of day trade, and they get it for free.
Yep.
Stuff for T1.
Great read on this. Great read on the split. They called the bluff, even though they were shooting out the windows initially, trying to puff a fish, trying to see more scary and in big.
भाई day trade का free में मिल गया भाई.
You know what? I'm not really seeing too much.
हाँ, हम छोटा सा सेक FW वाले जा सकते हैं. मैं बीच में सेक है. नहीं तो ये.
Spots to play from inside the circle.
यार ये GMs को कितनी बार देखेंगे?
Wow.
How many replays do we need to have of James just dying on a motorcycle? The man knocked himself.
I feel like other things have happened through the mid-game that we don't need to do. But the thing is, and I like how they're getting in.
Oh, acha,
there's
James.
so much. I mean, there's so much obvious butterfly effect thing happening in a game of PUBG. Because he gets knocked, it delays him to get to the rotation in Buksangsa. Because he's delayed to the rotation, he has to loot longer. When he finally goes to join his team, he runs into opponents, he goes down. Had he not fallen off the bike early, he would have been there with his team, most likely right now. So I get what they're doing with it, but feels bad to make that flip in the open.
Okay, TDT versus T1.
Western side of
Short है यार.
T1 who found a great compound to work.
Go down.
They didn't just sit there. They instead sent one there to make sure that they have it held, and sent all the three down here on the south side to prevent anybody from wrapping onto them. So great stuff from T1 here. And now
Okay, KDF
are going to send it right down the middle, the same path that FW just took.
Again, no scouting possible, no knowledge of what's happening towards the south, but they're going to stop early. I think they saw the saw players maneuvering around where FW was, and they're going to up to play this position.
Salute भाई, कितनी गलत पोजीशन में फंसा है.
Specific position, mortar bait, but we'll see how long they get to stay alive.
Seriously, yeah. But earlier they tried to wrap south on that western side, but then they saw TDT, and once they saw TDT, they just pulled away and went back up to the north and came back where they came from. So TDT.
अरे गुस्ताव यहाँ टकमाइन को डाउन करते हुए.
Van out of there and get him rezzed once again, but this is not a great spot for them to be in.
Definitely not.
Okay, banana one.
A little eye poll or something here that I don't think I've ever seen before.
What's that?
Luna Galaxy has a solo creeping in on the edge of a circle behind everyone else.
Who ever saw that?
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, that's the trick, though. There's the trick.
One
Okay, two streamer की तरफ से वो आता हुआ.
He's solo off to the west of Terminal. So they made, I don't know if this was intentional or if they just got big split, but either way, they've still got one player left alive. It's going to be Posa coming in from that western side of Terminal as T1 and TDT. That fight still going on. The circle going to go back up to the north, and it's still going to favor Terminal. So you can see all the shots coming from New Happy, from FaZe, all laying into the backs of TDT.
Yeah, we can see it's Twisted Minds trying to line up the shots right now towards
Okay, T1.
London Freaks, but the trees are doing Batulin's 30. It should be easy for the take, and he has found the distance, but the treetops are blocking off any potential kills.
गिरेगा क्या? Oh, Batulins!
We'll see if he gets the flush with a second. Not quite the case, but at least for now they found the first, and now Freaks has to figure, do we go for something here? As more mortars rain in from the other side of the circle. I said it, Nate bait, or mortar bait, and well, here we are.
Mortar bait was dead accurate, as Salute is slowly going to bleed out here. Heaven would love to be able to go. It looks like they are
T1 कहाँ जाएगी?
Beam
5 सेकंड में वो निकल रहा है.
Vehicle, but Cerberus is just spraying them down. We'll see if he can actually pull that res off. As
T1 ये रेस खेल सकती है.
Compound, they're heading off towards the east, where Day Trade is engaged in a fight with a T5 who has just arrived.
Okay, क्या बसड़े ये? 3 टीमें एक ही उस पे कंपाउंड पे.
All of a sudden, Rossett is the last player up for T5, and they're
T5 down.
Trade getting fed, T1 getting fed as what is going on here on the southeast side?
Day Trade just got pulled up on by 8 players. I'm like, guys, we're outside the circle. What are you doing? But of course, they had to try and wrap around. They had to try and play the compound. And because there's a bit of a low ground, did not see T5 coming in.
Richer getting more richer.
T1, not teams that wanted to take this fight if they could avoid it, but they didn't see each other. So T6 pulls up, and that takes out Day Trade.
New Happy bordering from the center of Terminal right now. I'm not sure if he's got a good read on that distance. As you can see, it's fallen just a bit short of where T1 is hanging out right now. But again, Twisted Minds still 4 up, still alive. They've got a compound. They've got control over the eastern side of this zone.
Definitely do. This next shift is going to be huge. Perfectix does get seen, but nice rich line to be able to back down behind. The only reason he's really able to flex out of the compound towards that south side is because he has that.
Okay, example down get
It's going to be Day Trade down and out. They remain in 5th for now, but look at how many teams are sat there.
6 kills by Twisted Minds. ये नहीं रुक रहे भाई.
That are still on the hunt. So Day Trade by no means guaranteed to remain top 5.
Okay, party gardi पीछे से.
Nobody wants to see
I see you.
Chase in the hunt.
Just
Twisted Minds sitting on 6 kills already.
Hot shift West.
And they've got, if they get a little bit of circle up here, it's going to be real tough in 3 games to catch them. But we'll see what happens. New Happy starting to push out the Terminal. They got the blue at their backs. They have spotted out that final snake in the grass from Luna Galaxy in Posa. As the grenade's going to fall just a bit short. Can he get the toesies? Gets them low. But Posa just going to heal through the blue as long as he can.
Yep. Spending a lot of usual trying to get him down, and Posa would rather not give the point over. So New Happy, well, had to place the name.
Posa भी बाहर भाई ये अब सिटी में होगी बस अब कितनी टीम है सिटी में 1 2 3 4
bits and pieces of Terminal is going to remain, and Twisted though will have to make a move. Also, Falcons up on the northern side. It's been a quiet game for them, but again, it's
भाई Falcon का गेम है, Falcon गेम है लूज करने के लिए. सिटी में से तो भाई एक टीम निकलेगी, वो भी एक दो बंदे और वो भी मारा जाएगा. सिटी में तो भाई मौत है.
Take them out here and clear the east. You're going to have a field day shooting at all the teams coming out of Terminal.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where Twisted decides to go here.
Twisted Minds versus Falcon होगा. Falcon को निकालना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो फिर Twisted तो निकल गया हाथों से भाई. फिर तो वो चैंपियंस हैं.
With the mortar, but they didn't get the flush, so they know that the Quandong Freaks is probably 3 strong at least. Is now T1 going to try to push through?
भाई हम तो फोन ले रखी बंदे ने.
And meanwhile, Bobo just hanging out by himself. He's got Gen G to the north. He's listening for footsteps.
Okay, sorry, मेरे को हम तो फोन लगी. और TSM की पार्टी का टीम ने रेटिंग को डाउन किया. लू ने सैल्यूट को टीम टाइम में बनाना. बसड़ और बोबो. ओके, बोबो ने एक ही डाउन किया. क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
And they need to be fast about it because here comes Gen G.
Yeah, Gen G heard that and they're instantly on their horses. They're heading back down to the south. Although Adder and Barpo are the
और Gen G versus New FP.
They want to be really
पड़ोसियों की लड़ाई.
They approach it. They're inside the zone, so they don't need to take any unnecessary risk.
पार्टी घटी को किल मिल गई है. फेस के फैक्स ने KDF का हेवन डाउन किया. और हेवन किल चुरा एग्जांपल ने. क्या हो रहा है भाई? ट्विस्टेड मैच वाले चोरी.
And now he is snuck up right behind T1.
और इस नीड है बार को.
Creep in behind. There are no players in front of him. The points could be garnered, but not to be. Down to the blue. He goes just. Points. Falcons now finally open up, looking towards Twisted Minds, finding Perfectix in the open.
Finally याद आया Falcons वालों को कि किल भी नहीं मिली. Example 800 damage. नान भी down. Servers भी आगे भाई गिर गई भाई New FP.
They're not too eager to aggress forward.
Stun
they've got a win in front of them if they can clear out everything to their north, and then they can turn their attention towards keeping it. What's going to be left out of Terminal is the kill feed.
अरे भाई खत्म. Kill feed में क्या रहा है?
FaZe and Cerberus suddenly the last two in Terminal. Gen G still on the north side as well. I can't forget about them. Barpo and Adder. Adder is down, but that should be.
FaZe 10 kills, 7 kills.
Falcons commit harder to the south. Yes, I know that if you play safe, there might be a win coming for you, but you really want to sit next to Twisted Minds on this side of the circle. They come over the top, but now they're backing.
But Twisted क्या प्यारा खेल के गई है? Okay, FaZe versus Cerberus. अरे भाई शॉट है गुस्ताव.
Well, after getting the knock on the Perfectix as Cerberus, they're going to take.
Kill ले भाई kill ले भाई important है. I want FaZe to win this tournament.
The Cerberus boys.
KDF बाहर.
Retreat just a little bit here. Solo Z and
भाई कैसे ट्विस्टेड कैसे पूरा साउथ साफ करके आगे ट्विस्टेड माइंड्स यार. अभी जोन में नहीं थी. ये देखो भाई क्या खेल रहे हैं बंदे. 8 किल्स ले भाई ले. एक पे MG3 एक पे P-Rant खेल लो. ये तो छील देंगे मैं बंदों को.
That's exactly the thing. They're giving them a lot of space right now. You can see
भाई एग्जांपल पागल हो गया क्या 5 किल.
Towards the northeast, expecting this push or at least any sort of util barrage, anything coming from Falcons, but Falcons are playing this one very slow. You can see the rich line here. They have space to maneuver east, Falcons that is, and it's forcing Twisted Minds to not really pay attention towards Cerberus, but for as long as they're not looking this way, they should be good.
खत्म.
Push comes through and
FaZe वो प्यारा क्लियर भाई पूरा सिटी आराम से क्लियर किया FaZe ने.
He pulls it off. There's nobody really looking in that direction. Twisted is just waiting for them to peek, but no peeks. They're not actually pushing out. Gen G going to leave their compound on that northern side of Terminal, and they've managed to avoid the line of sight of Falcons and of Twisted Minds for the time being. So FaZe.
भाई Gen G वाले लेटे हुए हैं. कह रहा है निकलने दे सालों. निकलने दे.
Hard cover and rocks to work around here. And you got
FaZe तो डन है भाई.
On a ton of utility. 8 kills already.
Perfectix को देखो भाई लगा कि
waiting for FaZe to run into the buzzsaw.
Issue right now for FaZe is how do you get out of here without getting third party, right? You have Gen G on one side, you have Twisted on the other.
भाई FaZe तो खत्म है. FaZe यार एंड गेम तक नहीं पहुंच पाती. मैं देख रहा हूं पिछला गेम भी अच्छा गया था लेकिन एंड गेम नहीं पहुंच पाई.
Still waiting for Relo to try and backstab on the southern side. You can see Twisted as well going, there's no world where they don't do
भाई reload कर ले.
भाई
Splatoons.
Angles to the west and no one is contesting the police.
It almost feels like Falcons are waiting for this Twisted and FaZe or Twisted Minds to get involved in a fight with whoever's coming to the terminal and to come over the top and take them by surprise when they're not expecting it. But Gustav is going to be able to escape. Fex will be able to escape. Correxy
Gustav आ गया भाई क्लोज में.
Spot out Adder. As
एग्जांपल को डाउन भी कर दिया
waiting for those smokes to disappear, but you can see them still looking
spotted by Perfectix.
for the inevitable push from Falcons, but it's just not
Phase kill and bar
will go down, as now that's going to be 10 kills for Twisted Minds, 11 kills
11 kills bhai
Adder and Barpo will survive through the smokes and start pushing down in that direction.
They've allowed the full sweep.
नीड हो जाए और फेलगन्स इतना स्लो भी खेल रही है पहली मार देती है
6 nades on the side of Rello and the P90 able to do a lot of damage from here with Perfectix.
अगर यहाँ से जीती अगर यहाँ से ट्विस्टेड जीती भाई मेरा दिमाग सुन जाएगा एग्जांपल लो
Barpo is going to get the knock onto example with the grenade. Adder and Barpo down to half HP as
और
well.
स्नीकर्स के
The flush onto Perfectix. Adder will flush out example, and now here come Falcons to secure the victory at the end. But they've got Patulins playing on the low side with that P90. If Roth isn't careful, he could take a knock. As Flood has spotted out Adder. He does not see Barpo though. Good work.
Okay, nice gameplay from Falcons.
Here in the end, but is it too little, too late in terms of points?
I mean,
हाँ यार बहुत लेट कर दिया
the rest of the kills able to believe finish on 6 kills, but again
लगातार 2 चिकन बट किल्स बहुत कम है
guys, you're giving points to Twisted Minds. We need you to help us. We need you to make sure they don't run away with it.
बढ़िया चलो चिकन तो नहीं मिला
down to 2 players. Nice nades over the top, keeping them at bay, keeping them cornered inside of the shack, and IHC on 4 elims on the game.
TJB looked to stop the first approach. Demo does go down. I thought it might have been to a team nade, but it was a step out spray down. IHC moving up to the shack against 2. One of them on a sliver of HP as well. But finally, just down to 1. It's just Flower to contend with. They got cut out earlier, and IHC
IHC out?
Approach. Flower low, but they're out of there completely. Third party angle. No, wait, Godless is still there. Okay, now he's down. But so's Flower. What just happened?
Oh, dear me. I mean, to be honest with Godless, you gotta admit, in that moment, the fact that he's able to jump up just as a vehicle explodes and gets the DBS shot through the window is somewhat remarkable. So at least they're able to finish off Tongji about it. Nice nade comes through from Flower as well through the window. Didn't even prime it, just allowed that one to cook on through, and then it explodes at the worst timing there for the boys over on IHC, who go out with 6 eliminations.
Okay, Uzumbi down.
Blank, the point scoring capability of the top 4 is severely diminished now.
5 kill bhai, I8 ke badhiya kheli hai
5 eliminations. It's a decent result given what situation they were in, getting those 5 elims, as Jason was saying back on the desk. That's Kaplan, not Statham. It could be enough to see you safe, but towards those top 3, it's probably going to need a little bit more juice. Enigma Galaxy on that south side with 2.
Wolf यहाँ कैसे चढ़ा ये?
For longer, they may be able to secure that second place. Zed-Wolf finally having to hop down.
Oh, Phase अच्छा game, 4 kill फिर से.
4 players alive, looking fairly solid in their spot. Falcons, 4 players alive. Fairly solid in their spot. FaZe, 4 players alive on this northeast side. We know they're liking to frag out today. Can these pushes towards these top pack come on through on this game as well?
I mean, FaZe are just flying through. They have done this multiple times, though, in the past in terms of getting into tournaments off the back of their final days. Yeah, I mean, for FaZe, 4 eliminations, like you said, point scoring potential of our top 3 severely limited. ASI8 were able to so honestly, big thumbs up to them, the fact they were able to make that happen, despite the shaky start that they had, which sits ahead of Na'Vi. The team that I am focusing over towards, they've had a good game so far. 8 teams remaining, 22 players. This is where they need to make their
क्या combination है ये?
8 teams remaining.
क्या combination है भाई ये?
22 players.
They have Team Queso to their south side, but IWNRX are making that approach for Team Queso a little bit rough here. Getso Roy, I mean, trying to rotate into the late game here again, but they don't have too much to work with. Only the 1 player, and already Zed-Wolf knows where you are. A nade.
अरे भाई, क्या ही ये चला रहा है भाई ये?
He peeks his head up over the parapet, and Zed-Wolf takes it clean off. That's Getso Roy down.
Yeah, good stuff. Very, very good stuff there. We'll keep IWNRX nice and safe over towards that side of the map. FaZe, though, up against the Falcons. Both teams I honestly don't think anyone would have expected both these teams to be so closely in contest.
NGX, first game.
FaZe is here to play now. Team Queso, though, nice shots over towards Enigma Galaxy, especially for Team Queso now on the chase above Vengeance, who are Queso currently on 99.
Of course, those placement points are going to start to rack up for Team Queso, which means that they're likely already over that mark, but they want to be more than that.
Top teams बाहर हैं सारी. ये ऊपर चढ़ने का अच्छा मौका है. Falcon के पास भी, FaZe के पास भी.
Try to catch up towards Incilio if they go down soon, because they're on the back of the queue on the east side and they have just
down.
So Team Queso again with an opportunity up into that 11th place now. Vengeance slipped down.
Okay, FaZe आ गई भाई.
Vengeance. Now,
FaZe versus Furia.
12th place, not a good place to be for them. And Team Queso, 4th match of the day, a bit of confidence maybe regained here for them. Just so needed. And we saw them earlier, they looked pretty downtrodden over on the stage. FaZe attempting to get these nades over into the shack, but the smoke cover allowing them to keep their eyes off the ledges and make those angles to line up for FaZe a bit harder. Yes, you can try and throw a bunch of nades in over that way and hope one fits in, but a lot of times in these end circles, it's a good thing to throw those smokes because teams do not want to waste nades at this point in the game. Falcons getting will feel so incredibly bad because this is the game that they have been waiting for so long now. And East already falling right off the bat, John. Ooh, it's not a good feeling for them.
I mean, it's so unfortunate.
Okay, FaZe आ रही है.
This ridge line as well between FaZe and IWNRX. The two teams around the tables as well. It is so devastating. Either side on the tables, either side on the ridge line, and Falcons need to hold off this push. FaZe try and go on in, but it's being cut down here.
FaZe ने
East
दिया,
away, but they
गया,
still
बहुत
have
गंदा आ
three,
गया.
and only Venturas now sits on their flank. This is a big pickup on the position for the Falcons.
Slow खेलती ना FaZe.
Being able to lose out.
IC down.
Yeah, FaZe down to one.
FaZe FPR play slow, yaar.
Quite fast fashion. So for FaZe, who are looking to put about back-to-back that Hot Jukes was talking about earlier, feels like it might be off the card. Torres though finds another from Falcons, but Top is quick to readdress that scenario, but not likely anyone else from his team is going to stay up. So now down to just Top remaining as he tries to slither on through inside this valley. Can't quite go back to pick up his teammate Kolgo, but does find some great shots over towards Furia, who are trying to enter from this eastern side. But the Fury is more over towards the side so as they start to light the fire underneath this lobby.
Team Queso looking for the last player of Furia, who's moving out in the open, sitting down, trying to go for these spray challenges, but it is just a last-ditch attempt. Can they get the res? It looks like they should be able to. IWNRX, a third-place guarantee for Falcons. I think they got 7 eliminations on this game. A big game for IWNRX as well. They've been waiting for this all throughout. FaZe, the team that fell by the Wade side on this match, they still got a decent result, but the teams ahead of them will accelerate away. The top pack also slowed down, caught up in the fighting on the south side, and it has not been a successful story for them this match. And it is again a front.
IWNRX 9 kills. Wolves 7 kills के साथ भाई.
It's more than likely, like Jason said, going to come down to the final match of this tournament.
Okay, top पे sexy need आया भाई, खत्म है top.
We get those.
Oh, कैसे?
Line that should be Falcon.
Top कैसे जिंदा है?
हाँ. Okay, Falcon. I mean, Top just survives that one.
Just built different.
Nade protection. Yeah. Wild.
Just built different then. Either way, still in a pretty dire scenario, all things considered, with IWNRX pushing up to the ridgeline. Team Queso wanting to secure themselves first tables. Trying to do the Americas proud. IWNRX moving on over.
Safe. Hi, Peter. Welcome to the stream, yaar.
Turkey are behind them too. All 4 of their players, they've got 14 smokes to play with. That is a lot of utility on side.
Top भाई अभी भी जिंदा है. Top हो जाए. 2 sexy हो जाए. Top.
Take this game home and
top
they
really
do want to. Falcons, like you said, 7 elims on the match. Top doing a good job here. They should know of this location from Top, considering they got the nades.
Definitely do. 2 nades in the pocket.
Ooh, they are lining up.
भाई मैं जट्टानी से हूँ. Welcome यार.
That's unfortunate on the timing at which he readdresses the approach on the boogie and maybe just trying to bait something out. Good shot. Things with a Melodious almost goes down, but this might be the trigger point for IWNRX as they hear that breakout. The damage has been done. They don't push the issue.
I mean, Team Case are on the back foot here, right? The circle closest to the center, and IWNRX know they
4v4 fight भाई.
Under control. They have a lot of smokes to play with. They're redistributing.
मैं HVN से पढ़ता हूँ.
Nice, brother, nice. On the smart game, not the aggressive.
हूँ या था. पढ़ता हूँ वाले को तो मैं नहीं जानता किसी और.
With 9 eliminations, with 4 more, they could add up to 13 eliminations. A 23-point game would, I believe, see them towards the top spots here. Blank, this is such a crucial moment.
भाई सब लेटे पड़े भाई. ये देखो attrition lobby. और यही इंडियन lobby होती सब बग्गी हमारे पे.
Making the tables as interesting as possible in my mind is Team Queso get 3 of these elims and then lose to a full 4 elim from IWNRX. That would shake things up the most.
पढ़ता था कार्तिक राका का भाई. अरे दोनों छोटे भाई वो जो दोनों आते थे तुम लोग उनमें से हो क्या? मेरे को नाम याद नहीं यार तुम लोगों का वैसे. वेलकम यार.
IWNRX playing off the
कार्तिक का तो याद रहता है.
They would like the players in Team Queso to rotate into them. They have good control a little bit further over into the middle side of this lobby, but it is a full 4v4. But with Zed-Wolf,
अरे भाई दो down IWNRX ले गई.
That's their big off angle, and IWNRX looks like they're taking this one home already, John.
Melodious goes down and need to follow it up from Kane. No damage to be seen in response. 2 players at the back line and they're already eating damage from the shrapnel.
Oh, Molly, Nade. नहीं अभी बचा हुआ है. और बग्गी घुमा दी गई है. और ये डिसीजन रॉन्ग हो सकता था अभी. उतार दिया.
2 of them almost go down as just calling out left stand.
Goat last player standing और खत्म.
Team Queso and Frozen rolls.
IWNRX के लिए बहुत ही प्यारा chicken dinner.
And that is how you shut down a game. A 13-point chicken dinner. In the closing moments for IWNRX, we're going right down to the wire again.
IWNRX के point कितने थे मैं इस मैच से पहले? अरे भाई फिर क्या हुआ? वो 135 थे. Literally यार इन्होंने चिकन निकाल दिया. ये भी पहुंच गए 160 के आसपास. Damn man.
They go up from here.
यहाँ क्या चल रहा है मैच? हो गया.
Just peeking around the corner with the DBS, not going to hit the shot though.
Oh, DBS Correxy.
Second with 6 sacks, trying to catch him slipping, but he's not going to fall for that one. Correxy with a big DBS play.
And amazing patience by him there as well. You can see he was waiting for James to come over towards him. Took a bit too long on that one. I think.
कितने बच्चे दो last बच्चा ले लो टॉमकी को यार.
To the rabbit run, but really nice play.
पर टॉमकी पे shotgun है भाई.
To make a mistake, maybe
टॉमकी कुछ कर सकता है.
He had available because if you hear a shotgun from inside that room, even though you have one as well, I don't think you make that play. But now down
टॉमकी की shotgun.
B1 face want to get this, and they do not want to take any more cash.
Shotgun.
They've seen him. They know he's in goal. Down to 1 HP. Those James.
And James playing that smart though. They found him.
अरे बढ़िया Correxy. बढ़िया.
Stop clapping for his boys, letting them know that he appreciates the hard work that they paid for his life. And they will back up to 3 strong, and they've got plenty of time to get their way in the zone as we cut back to this fight between New Happy and Luna Galaxy. Luna has already lost Posa, and New Happy, as I believe, got 1.
बढ़िया फेज 110 पॉइंट 132 भाई ट्विस्टेड माइंड्स वालों. भाई बटलेस बोल गए या तो हम बुरा PUBG खेल रहे हैं, अगर हम अच्छा PUBG खेलें तो हमारे बराबर कोई आ नहीं सकता. सीधे बोला था.
That's not a gun sound you hear too often. That's
Luna
not
versus
a
New
gun
Happy.
you hear too often. Haven, Pensafaust using the deployable.
भाई फेज लास्ट PGS क्वालीफाई नहीं की थी. ओ बटलेस.
Oh, had he not had
Perfect
insights there, there might have been points in the making, and what better than try and put a dent in this Twisted Minds run. They currently find themselves 18 points ahead of the competition. Cerberus in second.
Okay, Ming down.
See more pull-ups coming through. Ming trying to run back, trying to make something happen, but he's going to be taken down.
Oh,
Nan
ने कहा तेरी नान कटाई वालों.
So it's possible they can get him back on his feet. Haven is a crack and just looking for any angle. He got that Panzerfaust ready to fire. But nobody showing just yet as not working around.
मैं तो stream कर रहा हूँ already.
It does not look like AZ.
मैं game नहीं खेल रहा, game नहीं खेल रहा.
Haven. Oh, they saw he's peeking away. Immediately swaps back over to the M4 after the Panzerfaust does not find the spark.
Zauzi, near.
Can do some damage here, but Xiaozi on the move already. Haven down to about half HP, but he's got support. Xiaozi and Nan both pushing Haven here.
They know where he is. They heard the gap on the hillside earlier. They know they have a 2v1. The thing is, if you're Kraken right now, you need to hit all the suppressive shots that you can. If you get a headshot,
Kraken को spot कर लिया गया.
For Haven to peek out, do some damage of his own. And look at Nuabi in the leaderboard situation, currently tied with TSM. They trade just 2 points down, and then Gen G at 93. I mean, this is, again, I said it last game, I'll say it again, the fact that top 8 is as heavily in the race as they are.
भाई एक अच्छा गेम और तुम टॉप पे हो सकते हो.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about two teams that absolutely did not need these shenanigans early game, given how well they performed and where they are in the leaderboard. It's got to be FaZe and New Happy. Happy looks like Galaxy will kind of start pulling away from that fight as we check in with Gen G, making their way in on the eastern side of the zone. Nobody really there, although if they hear the shots, they can come over and third party this, but it's pretty good distance away.
Make the rep take their time, try and see if they can go all the way south side on this one in very Gen G style. Just get to the quiet side of the circle. They've won games on Rondo before. Actually, one of the
भाई 140 पे ऑल आउट मार दिया पाकिस्तान ने.
6 combined came off of a Rondo performance, so we'll see if Rex and crew can do this once more as we hop down towards T5. We're currently finding ourselves not entangled with, but kind of encroaching on
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जाके पाकिस्तान सीरीज जीती है. Cerberus versus T5.
T5 that engages with them. A nice little trade there of seat swaps.
भाग ऐसा की भाग.
They're chasing long range, and then he's going to do a little bit more damage. And yeah, Ranger X wants all of this. He's going to take the shot. He's going to get the knock. Is Haisaki going to go down early once again for Cerberus? And that is, again, all these teams in the chase, they just keep losing one.
Okay, TSM is rated Nurians. और इस sparking ये कैसे होगा?
As TSM sparking, you're not going to see that happen very often. Loses a 1v1 versus Norins, and Norins going to get the flush as well. So now the
अरे यार छी.
going to find Alo as Alo.
भाई दिरी नहीं आज यार.
But now TSM's just losing players left and right as we've got a little bit of an interview here with Norins.
ในส่วนการปรับเปลี่ยนคิดว่าไม่น่ามีครับแต่ว่าจะมีการเพิ่มเติมเรื่องพวกโฟกัสในเกม
नहीं यार TSM भाई एंड में आके क्या तो इतना प्यारा खेलते हो स्टार्टिंग में
ไม่ค่อยดีสักเท่าไหร่ครับในส่วนของการแข่งขันระดับ global ก็คือเราคิดว่า global เนี่ยเป็นกำแพงสำหรับเรามาตลอดเลยครับเพราะว่าเราไม่เคยทำได้ดีในระดับ global สักรอบเลยแล้วซึ่งในครั้งนี้มาจัดที่ประเทศไทยมีความหมายเรามากเพราะว่าเป็นบ้านเกิดของเราเลยการเป็นแชมป์สามารถพูดได้เลยว่าเราทีมระดับโลกจริงครับ
While they might not necessarily win this tournament, I think they have proven to us, to the world, that they are indeed a world-class team, really stepping up over the course of this.
भाई साहब non 1v4.
Now, for anyone who is scratching their heads, going, how in the world are we 9 minutes in, down 14 players and 2 full teams? I will tribute this entire early game shenaniganry to one thing and one thing alone: double planes. Yep. It really puts a spanner in the wheels of all the prep you have in terms of drop situations, in terms of what teams like to do. Because it's so unpredictable, it's so hard to read to understand exactly where all teams are coming in from. So,
oh भाई Thanadol ऊपर से.
And Thanadol found him from the cloud. Just why not?
And that's why you put your fragger in the glider. Because they can pull off the seat swap magic. Well, TSM do lose Alo and Sparking, but they still have Kurt and Luke alive. So they've still got some hope for the remainder of this game. Although, I mean, we came into these maps saying how much success TSM has had the past 2 days. And they end up getting bridge camped in the first game, and now they run into a random day trade in Circle 1 in game number 2. So,
but that's the thing, right? Every team gonna have these situations. So we talked about it before. I mean, Twisted, even when they have bad games, they get 5 points. You cannot go out on zeros here if you are expecting to finish up in the top circle. It's going to swing up towards the northern side. There's going to be some big mountains in play, but for circle center, it is very, very open.
Yeah, it's not great, man. It's not a good look. We see Twisted Minds taking shots at 4 a.m. in rotation just around them, but looks like T1 might be heading to that same spot that 4 a.m. might have their eyes on. So we'll see where they decide to go. Twisted Minds, meanwhile, I mean, that's all still in zone. They can still afford to play around the edge. And Cerberus now starting to arrive as well on that south side. So 4 a.m. they will find at least some semblance of safety here. And Well, go ahead and shoot the flare in the air there.
Get yourself some loot, get yourself set for fights to come. Why not? As you said, it's two Pearl. Cerberus right next door to Twisted. This could be very dangerous for the two of them, as we now already know who is up against who. Batul is able to find Dogmeyer on the initial approach.
Batul is
taking him out as well. Able to find him, but points gone over to the side of Falcons. So one down, but only a single point over to Twisted.
Yeah, Cerberus now down to Sololzi here as you can see he's out in the fields finding a place to go, and they're just gonna sit back and say, you know what, try to get as much as you can off of this. I mean, we saw Purdy Curdy make it very far, very late into the game as a solo last game.
Yeah.
Standadol, that's not how you want to get out of the glider. Oh dear. At least he's close to the boys.
Yeah. Unlucky. Can he crawl back in time though? I think Pathopog might get an angle. Now they're committing more util to try and get their fragger back on his feet, try to get him to safety, and well, just getting behind that wall should be him being safe. I say that, but Genji is actually rocking up right behind this. They're going to see smokes, they're going to see a glider as well, and they now have a decision to make because they don't really know what they're coming into in terms of where teams are positioned. Do you want to fight this, or do you want to just try and wrap around and avoid this commotion altogether? I think they're wrapping on this.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to avoid it. They see smokes in the road, they're just like, yeah, we don't want any part of that. We've got 4 alive. Let's just make our way into the zone and see where we can play this from. Is Rex going to be the one leading the charge. They're going to come into the south side of Fongtun as Theraton 5 is leaving. So it looks like you see Rex stopping down to scout ahead a little bit. No shots coming through, but he might have an idea that mountain. Okay. Spot out Pathambong. So a few shots and they know
like top it कोई भी जीत सकता
है. Is occupied.
I love the fact
Twisted थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही ऊपर चली गई अपने लेवल से.
To try and engage from what we had there. They sent one player over the hillside. Is there something free? Is there something we can go for? But the fact that we're down to 48 players 12 minutes into the game, this game has already gone full shambles, and Gen G realizes, you know what, if we just do this, we might also just die, as everyone else has apparently done so far. So let's just avoid this altogether. Slow play it smart. We still have a lot to play for, even though we're sat in 8th.
Face Sunday हो सकता है. Face Sunday. I am waiting for Face Sunday.
Good performance here from Gen G.
And everyone ahead of them is wounded.
Exactly. They're right back in it. So there's still so much left to play for here for Gen G. You could argue Kwangdong Freaks as well. They've got 4 alive. They've got good position inside this zone. Now 17 and Twisted, the only 2 teams in the top 6 that are kind of currently unfazed, as we see an E-pickup possibly being sent by TDT, and 4 Angry Men there still holding on to their high ground, but Twisted Mind starting to get a little bit close.
This next circle is going to be big.
Oh, big
Gen G now even more so happy.
KDF Falcons कब चाहिए?
With that fight
Falcons
coming to be, but all the teams in the north and the east,
Falcons
where do you go from here? The observers
PGS
going the way that I see it too. You have to swing on this circle. You have to try and wrap around because the center, like coming in from the east with the Falcons compound, with TDT being sat there as well, it's so hard to try and penetrate that circle from the eastern side. 4M is doing it now, but look at how much fire they're under.
Yeah, TDT.
Like, where do you go from here?
They use that E-pickup to do a little casual scouting around their area, and they're going to see nothing as nobody. We got 4 teams all setting right for the center of the circle. There's a little bit of dip here to play for 4 a.m. HSM going to be the first one to get there. Now they got the rest of the boys to provide the full-on car for replay to see what happened between Twisted and Cerberus as Batulin's got his 2-piece.
Realize what's happening around you, and just like that, your 2 players down.
Thanados.
Emergency pick.
Thanados!
Gets picked up by his teammate, gets back to safety.
Yeah, and somehow, some way, Cerberus's final player, Sololzi, was all by himself, sending it right through that 4 a.m. Gen G TSM mess in the center of the zone. As 4 a.m., they're going to move once again, then not completely content with the spot that they were at, but Sololzi still alive for Cerberus here as that solo.
Mortar bait.
All mortar. if you're in an open field at this point,
you're playing Rondo, you're mortar bait.
Yeah. Like unless you got a roof over your head, you're not feeling comfortable ever.
Nope.
Twisted Mind still trying to make their way in on this eastern side, but they've got a
little
bit, and now you see T1 off to the north. And I don't think Twisted is taking shots over in this direction, but it looks like T1 they have vision on somebody.
Yep. Yeah, Falcons opting to fall back to the compound and think that's they're doing this exactly why they're hearing the shots fired. They're going, well, they're not shooting at us.
Yeah,
that's got to be a team nearby. Guys, get back to the buildings. Somebody's trying to sneak up on us, and all Batulin's doing like, I really thought we had them called out by surprise. They're trying to, again, as they do so well, set up third-party opportunities, wait for the perfect time to pounce, but missed opportunity there.
while that's going on, 4AM landed an arm shot onto one of the boys from TDT, and
they
hop in the vehicles and send it over to this compound. So they actually want the fight here. They want to fight for this compound after getting the knock on to June. Ong is going to be the first one in the line of defense. Will get taken down pretty low, and Bobo actually going to spot out June. June back on his feet. Zhu, though, great spray from him, as he will find the knock on to Bobo.
Example
do a lot of damage, but able to suppress them for a bit too.
अरे भाई twisted वाले भाई.
Nate locked just over the other side, but example has been knocked. Another push comes through on the side of C that he's not able to.
भाई एक साथ जो पीक देते हैं ना भाई twisted में face clan बाहर 17 द्वारा.
Later stages of the game, 2 players down already. They gotta get in the car. They gotta keep on moving because they're not inside.
TDT versus 4AM.
Still playing inside the compound, not opting to engage in this. Now yet another chance for them to try and take.
Rene उतार दे.
They want to.
Rene उतार दे.
And they're going to have to leave one behind as well, as they are able to put one body into the dossier. Oh, Rello got him so low. Perfectix was one shot away and will survive. Greening is going to come up on the backside.
Oh, Rene!
Take him down though, and he will, as he defends Perfectix. Twisted Minds, they're down.
5 kill हो गए भाई, और zone भी है.
Got 5 kills. 17 starting to sniff around over here on the north side as well, though.
And as soon as TD team falls down to 4,
भाई फेल वाले इतना slow क्यों खेल रहे हैं यार, मारो ना जाके.
They pull up at the exact same time. Gen G able to find 2 on approach. That is huge for the entry inside this circle. Lawrence able to swing back down behind the fence, but not to be. Opens up to 4AM, and that's the A-trade down and out. But now 4AM fully aware that they have the entirety of Gen G in the compound as well.
Absolutely, Gen G have 4 up though, and they've got 3 kills, and they have visions of climbing this leaderboard a little bit farther as they try to see if they can find these last few remaining members of 4AM. Meanwhile, Twisted Minds, they are, well, I mean, it's not great, but it's somewhat safe here on the northeastern edge. Falcons still back in their compound, although 17 still starting to creep over in this direction on that north side, but just no vision around that just yet. Although the smokes might be giving away the game here, as you can see Suju and Lilgos starting to maybe take some shots over there.
Limited where they can really play from. I like the fact that Rock was up over the ridge line as well, trying to make sure no one was pushing towards them from up high, but now the circle's closing in. It's going to be too visible to teams further towards the western side should he stay up there. So smart on Falcons to fortify again. Reason to over-aggress here. The circles are doing a lot of the work for Falcons, and they'll happily say yes to those.
Absolutely, and for the time being, I mean, the center, I mean, you see the center of this circle is just nothing, right?
There is nothing.
I mean, TSM, they send their last 2 remaining players to the spot where 4AM was a little bit earlier, and it looks like they got there sneakily because they're not getting peppered by mortars right now, so they're staying alive as Gen G will get 1 knock, but Tosia will get him back. As you can see, Fluky got that high ground for Theraton 5. He's going to have to come down eventually, but he is just trying to find whatever information he can about where anybody is to feed over to his teammates.
Rule number 1 up here, my friend, do not get knocked.
Yeah.
Because they can't get you, and you can't fall down. But he's going to make the jump, he's going to fly towards the north, you can only imagine, but he is within vision of Gen G at her spot in midair, can't quite connect the shots, so it's so hard to zero in. When you have no background, there's nothing to see what you're hitting, no chance to really adjust your bullets. So Fluky gets the lift with a few holes in his parachute.
You can see Wang Zai and HSM still alive for 4AM in this compound. Gen G, though, they don't want to take the risk of losing anybody trying to push these guys door to door, so they'll just wait for them to reveal themselves while playing as safe as possible. This next circle to pop, and it is going to pop and head back to the north. Falcons get the compound again, and still just wide open space here in this zone.
Again, if circles keep coming your way, you're not going to complain about it. I think for Twisted Minds too, not too upset with a shift like this. But look at what little they have to move around. There is a couple of containers, I believe it is, in the circle center towards the north. And that really is about it. I mean, Falcons are going to have perfect lines of sight on anything here. I feel like Gen G and 4AM will have to try and take this fight. They both know there's not a whole lot to
KDA versus
the same thing happening on the western side. Freaks. T5, do you give points over to the teams inside the circle, or do you try to fight one another for whatever points are left?
It feels like they have to fight, right? Like you could still play. There's a lot of stuff to play up on the northern side of the road in this circle, but they've got to clear out 17. They've got to take the fight to Quantum Freaks first. And this is kind of do or die for both of these teams, really, for their late game. As right now, T5 in a 4v2 against Human and Heaven, but they're just going to use the utility for the time being. Yeah, KDF just going to get on out of there and try to find a better spot to play this fight from.
Trying
wrap their way north, of course. Despite it being a Pico, I'm pretty sure that 17 is going to hear these vehicles make their way on up. 17 still 4 players.
HSM?
They've been a bit quiet through the mid game here. Not too much action has happened up towards their north. They now find themselves in a good position from where they can try and suppress the teams coming in from the west. They know that the main threat right now is Freaks, and what better than have a little help from Fluky in taking down the first.
HSM,
oh, they saw them.
If he gets this knock, that could open a door for
TSM
already in the vehicle.
I mean, you said it, that's where they came from. That's where they started, so they knew there's a place to play should they be able to get back there.
They got the Pico. They can do it pretty silently if they so choose. T5, meanwhile, they've got vehicles of their own. And not really much place to play. You can see they're starting to, they knew the KDF was there, but they couldn't take the fight with them because Kwangdong Freak's in a better position. So instead, they're going to have to wrap back down to the south, and they might be taking the same spot that Gen G is trying to go for. As Marpo crept a little bit farther in the vehicle. They've got a ridge line to play with, but 4 AM still being a thorn in the side of Gen G.
Trying to make the rotation now, forced to do so. Gen G is able to get inside the circle, but right next to T5. Nate's already now being lopped on over, but a little bit outside to really do a whole lot of damage with him.
Yeah, they got a lot of room to run around as well. So as long as they're constantly moving around inside this bowl, they should be okay. T5 just holding on to whatever little high ground ridge that they've got there as 4 AM are right on the edge of the zone as well. And TSM actually going to find the knock with the grenade from that quiet little place that they were playing.
Thank you, Roth, the first player to go, we know what, guys, screw it. If no one else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. Let's see if there's something to play in the center. Everyone is playing out on the edge. 17 still inside. Twisted Minds trying to wrap in, but where can they go? Not sure they're going to go all the way center, but we'll see. And this, my friend Roth, is what you get for trying to claim center. Hopefully the developers are sitting watching this game and going, you know what, maybe we'll add something in the middle. Maybe we'll change the terrain a little bit, because this middle, again, I mean, there's a reason why everyone is hogging the blue right now, because you really cannot go anywhere, or else you end up like Roth just did.
It's tough. It's tough. 17 are keyed in on Kwangdong Freaks off in the distance as Theraton 5 going to try to see if they can still take this fight with Gen G. The utility, you've got to imagine, is sitting pretty low for both squads at this point. And do you think 17, if they had any idea that Twisted Minds was still alive off to their northeast, do you think they'd be focusing down KDF, or would they be rolling out there to clear them out? Right now, though, the fact of the matter is they've got KDF pinned against the bridge.
Players from the west and then take out Twisted towards the east after Batulin starting to make his way now, pushing forward as well over some well-played utility, but he's prone in the blue. Might go down to it, and indeed he does. Rex instantly responding, finding one in return, down to just a 1v1 now on the south side of the circle, and in the end it's going to be Patlampung able to keep the hopes of T5 alive.
A mutually assured destruction there in the end. Left alive. Twisted Minds, though, look at what they've found. It is a beautiful little crate compound. There's nobody here, although they keep peppering it with util. They were waiting, expecting somebody to be in it, but nobody there. 17 completely sent their full squad over to pay all attention to Kwangdong Freaks as they try to make their way through, but Salute gonna get a big knock here on the Xiaobei to open up
17 wants to get this done with quickness.
Snakers,
still alive inside the circle. TSM and Falcon start fighting on the southern side. It just Purdy left alive, and now he is no more. So we make our way into the top 5 with Twisted Minds still alive now at 140.
And wouldn't you know it, Falcons once again in a beautiful position to take advantage of the fights going on everywhere else. At least this time they've got 4 kills already, and maybe they can get themselves a position where they can third party all of these fights, maybe sneak a few knocks away, or even get involved here as 17 back up to full strength, full forward through the smokes.
Guman ki piranti chilli ve.
And Little Ghost almost goes down as
Guman
is singing its song here in the
17 bahar.
And Kwangdong Freaks will wipe 17 out.
Tough loss for 17 there. Had they been able to do so, finish this fight cleanly, there might be a win in the making for them, but it's Kwangdong Freaks that come out victorious. Twisted Minds can smile because all the teams on the hunt, all the way down to 9, are out. Any single point they get here further from the teams in the hunt.
And if nothing else, we know at this point, Twisted Minds is just inevitable. They are always going to be there. And look at it again, perfect position, perfect. They got hard cover to player. They've got everything they could possibly want. but they are down to 2. So they have a 2v3v3 to try to clinch out this win. But you got to imagine, Toby, if they get this win, they are almost assured a PGS6 victory with 2 Aaron goals left to play.
It would look very, very promising, that's for sure. I love how PUBG oftentimes in these like later stages of tournaments become the games of what ifs. Had Rello known that there was enough guy in that car with a player to 1 HP, pop one more shot over, that could have been Twisted Minds down earlier. But he fell back, allowed for the rest to come through. And just like that, Twisted Minds find themselves in yet another top 3 situation. But maybe this mortar has something to say about it. Rello lops one over and it's going Twisted Minds' way.
Definitely getting the feed over from Flood, trying to guide him gently.
But he's going for
might be Freaks. Actually, yeah, Freaks is right up against the wall.
Oh,
okay, there you go. Okay.
अच्छा गया है, लेकिन वो तो container में है.
They're definitely somewhat safe. Yeah, they are backed into this container and surviving, and that's all you can really ask for or hope for. But while they're doing that, it's going to allow Freaks to kind of expand on this western side, play a little bit more towards the south, but they still have to make their way in zone because this little ridge line that they have is not inside.
Oh, Freaks, how do
Salute, what are you? Come on, man. Yeah, look at him, he knows.
That was so insanely avoidable. The thing is, you never really know who to blame because the guy in the car has a harder time diverting. I feel like you just reach a point where you go, I can't stop, you can't run left. Okay, I guess we just go through with this, but yep, I feel like that's kind of the story of Freaks through these finals so far. Whenever they get chances to do something late game,
At the end, no harm, no foul. He's fine. We do see that Falcons and Freaks both currently sitting on 89 points, just outside of that top 8. So how these guys finish could have fighting on money, and they are scrapping as they're going to send it right into each other. Salute though, he's going to find Snakers. He's got that P90 off of Gubin's body, and it is paying off. Knock on a Flood, and just like that, Falcons are down to just 1.
And because Freaks now give up the high ground position with Heaven trying to wrap down below, this allows for Twisted Minds to wrap out, to play up close. This could be, because they both go for the same rock, a game written for Twisted to come out victorious, and again as they continue fighting on the southern side, not eyeing the opportunity to take out the team in the north.
I mean, once again, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, as Heaven will find one, but Rello will take him down. Bean will try to turn it over in, actually try to switch over to a grenade, but Rello not going to go down without a fight. Twisted Minds, meanwhile, they're coming in. They have an angle onto Bean.
Oh, बढ़िया.
One, as now Patounas is going to go down. It's a 1v1v1 for the win.
Solos galore. It's been a while since we've had solo tournaments going on, but here we have one. Salute, obviously, seeing Patounas be knocked, wants to claim some points with it. Let's see if Perfectus is going to allow him, though, because he can't just jump over this rock. That they made just on the wrong side of the car there. Second one, bounces close, should at least do a bit of damage. Indeed, it does actually quite a bit of damage with it.
Careful about that car. Salute very, very low here. The car is flaming. It's about to explode, and it's going to go sailing. But he will stay alive for the time being. Rello using this as an opportunity to try to find a place to play inside the zone. Perfectix and so in the 1v1, Perfectix shots in, gets him low, but he knows he's in a 1v1 against a P90, and that's a terrifying proposition.
P90 in the hand of Perfectix to make matters worse as well. Rello still on the southern side, trying to do a wrap in, I'm not sure, he's going into a car, trying to wrap north, potentially trying to backfill Perfectix here. I'm not quite sure what the play is.
I don't either, but he's
going to go for the rock that Snakers died on earlier.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you know exactly where Salute is, so maybe you get a better angle onto this from here. Salute can't be safe from both sides, can he? He's got a little bit of a husk of a vehicle to hide behind, at least, and this is. I don't know, but this is 3 titans of PUBG fighting it out for a win here in match number 16.
A game of cat and mouse and cheese. It's not something we see too often. As Rello, again, I feel like the only person really in a position to maneuver around to kind of set up who's going to come up victorious is 6-6 FAMAS.
That's why he was the Snaker's body.
Yeah, he needed the FAMAS. Makes perfect sense. Again, he knows that Perfectix is over there as well, but no one opting to aggress early on. As I say that, now Salute will try and suppress. Spots Rello on the south side. One tack comes through. That's going to allow Perfectix to creep further forward. Spots behind the rock now as well, but he's down to low HP.
Oh, and he's got the blue right on his back. He's got that jammer pack. in hand, but that P90 is having such a big impact
Oh,
on
by
this fight.
Salute.
Salute will find Perfectix, and now it's a 1v1 between Salute and Rello. Can the Falcons get their third win on the day? Salute taking blue zone damage. He's going
Falcons की head.
Wins in 4 games for the Falcons, and just like that, they jump into the hundreds. They somehow, from being in the bottom, start in the day.
बढ़िया गेम. चलो guys, मिलते हैं बाद में.
It's never over until the final game is played, and Falcons showing up in a big
they do
way
finally
here
clear
on the
things
final
up,
day.
but with Onzens as well as Moment down, and it's
remaining.
impossible to get them back up in this fight at stage 4. These two players just have to send out.
मिलते हैं बाद में guys. खाना वाना खा के हम आते हैं 8:30 बजे के आसपास तक. फिर खेलेंगे, लास्ट मैच भी देखेंगे और फिर होगा थोड़ा BGMI, फिर होगी स्ट्रीममेंट. बाय बाय गाइस, थैंक यू सो मच. सी यू टुमारो, सी यू आफ्टर 1 hour.
आपको यहाँ देखकर कितना हैरान हूँ मैं.